United States Congress is pushing hard for a bill that will give Americans who served the IDF the same exact benefits as Americans who served the United States military. Did you guys know that over 20,000 Americans are currently helping Israel carry out a genocide in Gaza? And now they're going to receive taxpayer benefits for doing so. But tell me more about how claiming the United States and Israel is essentially one entity controlled by the Zionists is some sort of anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. This bill is completely treasonous and 100% without any precedent in modern human history. When have we ever seen a country provide veteran benefits for people serving another army? It is not anti-Semitic for Americans to expect their government to actually govern on behalf of Americans instead of a genocidal apartheid state. In a rational society, anyone who signs up to fight for a foreign army, especially a foreign army committing a genocide, should be charged with treason and locked up for war crime charges. Meanwhile, in Zionist-controlled America, they are celebrated and given extra benefits. How can any American be comfortable living with neighbors who murdered children and engaged in acts of genocide? So we're supposed to let these people walk around like nothing happened. The good news is that there's no statute of limitation on war crimes and genocide. America needs an anti-Zionist revolution so we can go after and prosecute these scumbags.
What's poppin'?
Hell yeah.
It's great to be back. I'm back in the lab cooking. We back in the lab cooking with the homie himself, the legend, Rathbone. What's poppin', my friend?
I'm just honored to be joined by the great and eternally based Nick Cruse. You are just crushing it. We love your content, man. Especially these hot spots. Yeah, always throwing it down. Everybody in my audience like loves you, and they're always asking when's the next collab. So I'm happy we could do it again. I'm sorry I wasn't available last week. That was my fault, but happy to be here today. How's it going, my friend?
It's always fun when we get together and we do these live streams. They always go by so fast. There's always so much to discuss, and we're going to discuss plenty zop slop, as you call it. Your streams be funny as fuck. Your streams be fucking cracking me up, bro. So you know I have to get your thoughts on this because I've been focusing on my short forum content over the last few days. I'm gonna have a busy rest of this week. I'm going live with Jamal Thomas. It's great that he's back. So I'm doing a show with him tomorrow morning.
Who's he?
Jamal. He has a great show.
Forgive my ignorance. I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, it's okay. He has a fantastic geopolitical channel. He's been out for a few weeks because he had health issues. But I'm joining his show on Thursday. I highly recommend it if you listen to a show on geopolitics in the morning. Then I have my friend Sarah back on Friday. So we got a lot of content coming. We're back on the long form, but I got to get your thoughts on this, Rathbone, as we get started. You guys kind of heard my thoughts on this. You guys know 20,000 Americans committing a genocide, and they're just going to come back home, and we're supposed to live amongst them, Rathbone?
Yeah, it's just we keep just doubling down on this support for Israel. It's really like I don't know what else. I'm sort of desensitized to it at all at this point. You know, every day I wake up to another horrendous headline about how we're supporting Israel and how we're so just completely tied and tethered to this genocidal state. And you know, this is par for the course. Didn't you say? I saw that the headline said that the Congress now has 10% approval rating.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that here very soon. That's one of the stories. We have quite a few things to cover. We're gonna cover.
So they passed this bill to grant Americans serving in the Israeli army the same rights as U.S. troops. So I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, and just like I don't know if I could add anything to what you already said, but it's just you hit the nail on the head. It's like when we acknowledge this information, somehow we're anti-Semitic. It's just we're constantly being gaslit. I'm so fucking over it.
Why do you guys think I've been doing a lot of like solo streams recently? Like it's great to have Rathbone back after a few weeks, but I've been doing a lot of solo streams just because it's been like therapy for me.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you feel the same. It's very therapeutic to just rage against this kind of insanity. Because something else that we're not supposed to mention, hopefully I don't get you in trouble again. Last time Rathbone, we all got Rathbone one time. I hope I don't get you in trouble.
That was so stupid, man. That was not your fault. That was just a weird algorithm thing. But we got it, we got it overturned, and you helped me, with all that by reposting and everything, and the entire community. So that type of shit's gonna happen, I feel like, regardless. But what are they talking about? What are the same rights that will be granted to these Israeli army enlisters as the United States troops? I mean, what does the article say? What they actually mean by what?
We can scroll through it.
Yeah.
YouTube saw Rathbone. They were like, "Bro, you streaming with Nick Cruse? Time to pull the plug. You fucked up. you don't ever."
Oh yeah. Right.
Because
I don't know. It's either or. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm with bad people, man. Nick, you're too dangerous for YouTube.
So over 20,000 Americans. So as I was about to say earlier, something else that will get you in trouble and probably will cost you your job. Another reason why I'm unhireable at this point, even if I want to go back to corporate America, fam, you can just type my name into Google, bro. Why do I use my real name? I'm an idiot. So you just type my name and you can see all the anti-Zionist shit that I said. Because one thing that I say, and one thing that people notice, the noticing you're not supposed to do, 20,000 Americans joined the IDF. Who do you guys think those Americans are? How many Jewish Americans actually served the United States military?
Now, this is a great point. I bet not many.
But if Rathbone, I swear to God, if you was to talk about this, they were like, man, you can't be questioning the loyalty of Jewish Americans. What are you, anti-Semitic? Bro,
it's like
less than 5%, less than 0.5% of the U.S. military is Jewish. They don't serve the American military. They serve the IDF.
It's like finding exceptional Jewish athletes. It's it's slim pickings. It's a rarity. It's like finding a unicorn.
The NBA finally has an Israeli athlete. I don't know his name, but
that's right.
He's being ruthlessly bullied by NBA Twitter.
Yeah, by Spike Lee, right, for wearing a Palestinian the flag at the All-Star game.
It doesn't really matter because the NBA, they all ran by Jews too. It's a Zionist league, bro. You had Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. We covered this. It was like a few months ago. They was openly bragging about making money off drone warfare and killing Palestinian kids. Steph Curry
because of what they're investing in. Yeah.
And LeBron James. He was like, Israel heard nothing but good things.
3 years into a genocide, LeBron James, like, yeah, I heard they're up to some good stuff over there.
Let me tell you guys, that shit was heartbreaking, fam. Like, if you're not LeBron is such a big deal in the black community. Like, fam, you guys see that 3 he just made to win the playoff game? He is the fucking GOAT. This man is one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen. So to see him cut to the Zionist lobby, fam.
I'm so out of the loop. I didn't even realize, he's like 41 years old. I didn't realize he was still playing in the league.
In longevity, in court vision, in leadership, like, he's the full package. If anyone has anyone else as GOAT other than him and Michael Jordan, and most NBA heads rank him over Jordan now because the longevity, the highest scoring NBA player of all time. Like, you can roast LeBron for being a corny sellout all day, bro. But for sure, undeniable. Like, bro, he's playing with his fucking seed in the playoff.
That was my next point. Yeah, he's got his son on the same team. That's crazy. That's probably never happened, right? No, Michael Jordan's sons couldn't crack it in the big leagues.
This man threw an alley-oop to his own son, bro. This man, the fucking son. That's why it's so depressing that he's a fucking Zionist dude.
Somebody on my Twitch chat said Hebron James. That works.
I like calling him Lakud James.
Lakud James, yeah, actually. Because I think Hebron, is that not a city in the West Bank? That's technically a Palestinian city. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, Lakud James. That's more on point.
They call Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant nickname is KD in basketball, if you all know. So they call him the KDF now.
Oh, is he a Zionist too, huh?
Yeah, he's the guy who invested in drone technology, and there was like a whole scandal where his
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. I'm thinking of Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, his alternate account was revealed on X and Twitter, and then people was going through his alternate account, and people were like, "Oh shit, this guy's alt account was in his group chat." So people went through this group chat, and in the group chat he was bragging about making money off of Israeli drone technology.
That sucks because I really like I like his style. You know, I like his way of playing the game.
I think he's 5th of all time in scoring. He's 5th all time in scoring. KD is a motherfucking monster, bro. He's a monster, but he's a Zionist. He's a Zionist, and the NBA Twitter won't forget it. The NBA fucking sucks, bro. Like 75% of the team is owned by Zionist Jews. Oh yeah, that though.
It's like everything is political, even talent. They have to buy off the best talented, most talented athletes, and then they've just become mouthpieces for Zionism. It's upsetting.
Let's see. It says here, there's many rights, because I was skimming through this as I was making this video. But one thing that's crazy about this new bill, I know you was asking about this, Rathbone.
Yeah.
Under HR 8445, an American returning from a tour with the IDF could demand their old job back from their U.S. employer, halt a foreclosure on a U.S. home, and benefit from interest rate caps on U.S. debt on the basis of foreign military service. So imagine you had a job, you came back like, "Hey, boss, I'm back from killing children. I expect my raise."
Yeah. It sounds pretty Jewish to me. Interest rates are now capped. What the fuck? Now they're going to transition to being a private equity, venture capitalist now.
NBA pack. That's funny.
NBA pack.
It's crazy when you realize the massive amount of capture. We're going to get to that up here next when you have massive calls for Zionist censorship. Like if any mainstream corporate media journalist, thank God I'm an independent citizen journalist like yourself, like we would immediately be fired for even covering this.
We would never make it, man. We get washed the fuck out. Okay, that's exactly why we're in the position that we are. It's because we can't be bought, like a lot of people.
Yeah, and you have these media companies that are ran by these hardcore Jewish supremacists, and they've been putting out lines to the reporters. They're like, "Hey, man, Hardline is saying you must support Israel's right to exist," and that's a non-starter. We're gonna get to that very soon. Again, a little bit ahead of myself. So we're gonna move to our next transition segment here, where this.
Oh no!
Yeah, you already see.
No, trigger warning. Not this guy. Fuck.
The pedophile, Alan Dershowitz, who is now like accepted among as a legitimate voice, even though he was paid by the Mossad to keep contacts with Jeffrey Epstein. He used to report to Mossad. This was exposed in the Epstein files, and this is what we've seen. There have been victims that accused him of raping them in Epstein files, and but now he's just loud on Fox News. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jewish
he said he kept his pants on for a massage, and the girl was 17 years and 10 months.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, he stressed that she was almost 18, barely illegal, but yeah.
He's one of those people that like, man, I'm not a big fan of the age of consent. Like, bro, what?
Yeah.
And he's like a legal scholar or some shit like that, right?
Nick, in fact, we covered this because, Dershowitz, he's now coming out as a Republican. Don't you feel like this is a good example of how liberals will always slide to fascists in times of crises because fascists don't threaten capital? And I'm not trying to say that the Democrats are not fascist, but the fact that he's now, because he's a single issue voter, right? It's just undying support for Israel. That's it. And he sees the Republicans as being a vehicle for that. So I just feel like, you're seeing that slide into fascism. These people are supposedly liberal, pluralistic, democratic, freedom loving liberals, right? But it's only that's all just lip service when it comes down to it.
I thought he was a Republican this entire time.
I mean, it could have fooled me, exactly. Republicans are Democrats,
Bro, the two-party system is probably the greatest invention by the ruling class that ever made.
Absolutely.
They win no matter what. They can easily blend in between each party. There's no ideological disagreement. And then whenever the American people get upset at whoever controlling the government, they will just replace them with the friends. The ruling class never fucking loses. The Democrats, the same people, who committed a genocide, they're licking their lips, Rathbone, at the idea that, we about to take power because people about to have their backlash against our friends in the MAGA Republican Party.
And on it goes. It's like it's the same old story every 4 years. They always campaign on the failures of the Republican Party, and they promise all these corrections and how they're gonna they're just a bunch of liars is basically what it boils down to.
We will cover this more in detail when we get to the Congress 10% approval rating segment, because as deeply underwater Donald Trump is, the Democratic Party is doing just as bad. But you guys see how it's a race to the bottom. It doesn't matter if you're shit as long as you're not as shit or shittier than the other quote-unquote opposition party. You know what I mean? But let's play this video. Let's respond to this. We're going to play a few clips. We're going to react to these Jewish supremacist scumbags calling for the mass censorship of Americans.
So I became an independent for about 3 or 4 months, and I realized A, pop out, and B, I couldn't have any influence on either party as an independent. I am a fervently anti-democratic person. I am very much against the Democratic Party. They are the most anti-liberal, most anti-Semitic, most pro-terrorist, most anti-American party in modern American history. And
you're a pedophile.
The canary in the mine shaft. And when you turn
the canary in the
Israel,
mine shaft,
you turn against the Jewish people, you are ultimately turning against America.
Pedophile detected, opinion discarded. Also, look at his face. It looks like he spent a little too much time in the promised land. Look at his red face. He's beet red. Clearly indigenous to the Middle East, of course. But he always sounds like he's whining, doesn't he? Oh my God, well, I would have done it, but really I'm the victim. It's really the Democrats that are the problem. They forced me.
That soy voice. Like, bro, when it was revealed Jeffrey Epstein's voice, like, bro, everyone was like, oh, it makes sense now.
That's true. We had never heard him speak, and then you hear him speak, and you're like, oh, I get it.
He has the most anti-Semitic voice I ever heard in my life.
Yeah, if you just impersonate some of these Jewish supremacists, you'll be charged with anti-Semitism.
Bro, hearing Epstein speak is the funniest shit I ever heard. He's like Chuck Schumer, but even more of a caricature.
Yeah.
It's just that guy's a pedophile.
Yeah, we just gloss over the fact that all these people are just pedophiles. Like, why do we listen to them? Why are we still thinking that they're relevant?
And think about how crazy what he just said there, Rathbone. I don't know if you guys heard it, but he explained that if you're American and you turn against the Jewish people, you're turning against America. Sir, how dare you?
Israel is the canary in the mine.
Let's listen to this part.
Shaft. And when you turn against Israel and you turn against the Jewish people, you are ultimately turning against America.
Sir. Oh.
Sir, please. What? Yeah, that's, it's always the Jewish people, the Jews. We got a special priority and privilege given to, don't offend Jewish feelings. That's anti-American.
It's like, sir, bro, you 3% of the population, bro. What are you talking about?
I mean, if that, right? I mean, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's like in America, it's like 3%, but like worldwide, it's like 0.2%.
I can't wait till the Goy slaves realize that.
Oh my goodness.
I can't wait till the Goy cattle realize that these motherfuckers are only 3% of this country. There's more of us than there are you. Meanwhile, Rathbone, this motherfucker has the audacity to be like, if you don't support Jews and our ambition of genocide, you're not supporting America. According to Alex Dershowitz, the Jewish supremacist project is equal to supporting America.
Yeah, right. And you know, just to be clear, he's on the face of it trying to promote this idea like we are persecuting people for being Jewish, like it's he's trying to say it's anti-American for us to, you know, undermine people in practicing their faith, but that's not what it is. You just hit the nail on the head. It's we don't support the Jewish right to self-determine, not the Jewish right to practice a religion. We don't believe that Jews have a right to a national territory, least of all one that they don't really have a claim to, and that has been already, you know, settled by another group of people.
Fam, if anything, we have the least anti-Semitic position. I'm like, bro, I wish you can thrive in Europe, not in Palestine. Remember who kicked you out of Europe? It was a bunch of white people who hated your ass because they're the real anti-Semites, the true Nazi Aryan motherfuckers who hated Jewish people. And then the Palestinians accepted them and wanted to give them safe haven. You guys see how these motherfuckers stabbed them in the back?
Absolutely.
If you think about it, we have the most pro-Jewish position out there, Rathbone. We say you motherfuckers can exist everywhere except Palestine. Like, get the fuck out of Palestine.
Yeah. And there's literally no evidence of, you know, like we say, there's no evidence of systemic anti-Semitism to the fact that where, you know, institutions are undermining the rights of Jewish people on the basis of their Jewish, you know, their Jewishness. It's not a real thing. So, you know, it's such a manufactured concept.
Fam, I want to sacrifice New Jersey. I don't know about you guys. Can we sacrifice New Jersey?
I mean, there's plenty of open land in like Wyoming, you know, or Utah.
I'm sorry for our Jewish comrades too, but our comrades in New Jersey. But there had to be like a New Jersey Nakba. Like, let's get all these Jews supremacists and let them live in New Jersey. All you other, if you're a comrade in New Jersey, get the fuck out of there, okay? After everything America has done, like, I think that's the least we can do. Like, I feel like we should like take the Jewish supremacists to New Jersey, get them out of Palestine. Like, that's the most pro-Palestine position, and it's the most pro-Jewish position if you think about it.
Yeah, and they'll all be concentrated in like this sort of camp situation, so they'll feel right at home. It'll be just like, you know.
How dare you? How dare you? I'm fucking dying, bro. So this is the problem, because you're not gonna force your beliefs on me, sir. You're not my master. I'm very respectful. I'm out of my like edgy teenage atheist phase I used to have. I used to be one of them like, I will never step in foot in this church. Like back when I was an annoying ass teenager, God, I was insufferable. But I don't believe in that stuff no more. I believe that everyone, like, I understand that life is hard. Religion is a very important way to guide people throughout this difficult life that we live. And I 100% respect it now. But what you're not going to tell me is what I'm going to believe. That's when we start having a problem.
Yeah. And we don't believe that religious groups should be able to achieve political power.
Exactly. Absolutely. But I think that's all I want to hear from this guy. Let's get to someone who's as annoying.
Oh, God, it just gets worse.
You guys see, this is the message that they want to be mainstream. I'm sorry, I'm torturing Rathbone, his audience today. But this is the pain and suffering that we forced to go through on my channel. You guys see how they're trying to tie Judaism with what it means to be an American. Remember, it was Ursula von der Nazi who said that the values of the Talmud is the values of Europe, which explains everything. It really explains everything. But you guys see how they try and bring that same energy here?
This is our country. We're celebrating our country. Every July 4th, we're celebrating the principles that undergird our country. If you reject Judaism and you reject Christianity and you reject the link of the two, you reject the Bible. If you reject Judaism and Christianity and the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the two, not only are you rejecting our founding, you're rejecting.
Oh, can you guys hear it? Can you hear it, Rathbone?
Yeah, I can hear it.
So this man lying to me.
They're lying. But who the fuck is rejecting Judaism? Nobody's rejecting Judaism. We're rejecting Zionism. We're rejecting Jewish supremacy. We're rejecting organized Jewry overrepresented in our political government. That's the point. And he's absolutely wrong. I mean, the Constitution, rejecting the Constitution might be anti-American, but not rejecting Judaism. I mean, I can feel any way I want about any religion. It's not a crime. I don't have to like Judaism. I don't have to like Christianity to be an American. That's the separation of church and state. It's one of the founding principles of this country, ostensibly, or so I thought.
Like, sir, sir, you realize that your fucking book and your religion says that Jesus is boiling in hell in a pile of shit.
Yeah, and we see videos of them spitting on Christian churches, Christian people. We see them desecrating, Christian statues. They don't even show. Did you see where they banned the plus sign because it resembles a Christian cross?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, literally Jesus fucking Christ. So they have like the plus sign in Israeli like mathematics textbooks is just it's a horizontal line and a one vertical line, but there's no like bottom line because that would be that would be too offensive. It'd be too offensive to their Jewish feelings, of course.
But that's something I want to tackle. I increase the volume. I know the volume was kind of low. I think that's what you guys were saying. But that's the first thing I think about when I heard this clip. Obviously, the ridiculousness that we have to accept your deranged ideology. But you guys see how they're trying to tie. This is the Judeo-Christian fallacy, the lie that there's, and this is what's been pushed by Christian Zionists and churches all over this country, including black churches, who poison the minds of countless brothers and sisters with Christian Zionist bullshit, which is why the Black Congressional Caucus supports Israel uncritically, because this Judeo-Christian values. It's probably the biggest scam that has ever been promoted. And according to Mark Levin, if you support that, you're anti-American. And you guys see, this is him advocating for more censorship. They've been so overwhelmingly defeated in the battle of ideas, Rathbone. They have nothing else to do but implement more fascism. What we're seeing in the UK with them arresting doctors, monitoring their social media, arresting innocent grandmas, brutalizing them. They want what is going on in the UK, the fascism in Australia. They want that imported into the United States. And my biggest problem is the United States left is going along with this. Like the whole anti-Semitism hoax, Zohar Mamdani teaming with the NYPD and pushing anti-Semitism, countering methods like this. They are trying to turn us into the Jewish supremacist, fascist European, what the European states are. Let's listen to a little bit.
Things like this have happened, but it really is problematic because so much of it is protected. And you heard people say, "Don't you believe in the First Amendment?" They don't even know what the First Amendment believes. Do you want to deplatform people? The libs do that. I don't have any problem with deplatforming Nazis or jihadis. I don't have any problem with
jihadis.
Bro, comparing the anti-Arab racism from these people, comparing jihadis to Nazis, you want to know who's more comparable to Nazis? Japan. Like, if you look at Imperial Japan and the crimes that they committed, the United States military who tortured, there's new reports out that I was reading in the last few weeks. They kidnapped North Koreans and they kidnapped them and engage in scientific experiments that they got from Unit 731, I believe it was, from Japan. Because those doctors that we talk about this on our channel all the time, the medical experiments that they committed against the Chinese and the Korean people. You guys know the United States hired those scientists and they were committing those same torturous experiments on North Korean POWs. But jihadis are Nazis? Nazis is a European Western invention.
I still don't even know what the word jihadi is. I mean, it's ostensibly it's just a catch-all for anybody that resists, the American foreign policy. Some of the people are in the chat are saying jihadis. That might be more accurate, But that's what his conception is that the people that resist the monopoly of violence, those are the jihadis. But You know, I mean,
point,
think about, you know, the American Revolution. Was it the American jihadis that, you know, kicked out the British? You know, I mean, it's always political with these goons. And another thing is that his audience is dwindling. I mean, everything that they're trying is not working. The only reason that we know about him is because he's propped up by Fox Jews, and that's, you know, not you know, it's evidenced by, if you look at his numbers and like what his organic reach is, it's very small, and just like his micro penis, of course. But you know, Tucker Carlson, like they got, what's that?
Yeah, just like Ben Shapiro, but please continue.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. I mean, you know, you got I don't know if you saw, like, Mark Levin and Tucker Carlson got into like a little Twitter spat about engagement, and Tucker was like, yeah, you know, he screenshotted YouTube, the Mark Levin's YouTube page, and it showed like 4 people were waiting for the live to start, and like,
better than that. That's crazy.
Exactly. It's like we're getting better engagement on YouTube than this ghoul, because, you know, he's losing the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's why they call him for censorship. That's why I cover this. When I cover this kind of stuff, it's almost like a victory lap.
Yeah.
I saw that article about how more Americans view China favorably now, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm taking a W for that. Yeah, I'm playing my part.
Yeah.
Whenever you see them advocate for censorship, that's us playing our part.
Mm-hmm.
When you see them lashing out at Tucker Carlson and the anti-Zionist right, that's a massive sign that they are losing. And I explained before, like the whole Tucker Carlson versus Laura Loomer, or Mark Levin versus Candace Owens versus Laura Loomer thing. That's like my guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna lie, fam. Like, I've been greatly enjoying this right-wing infighting because a few of them realized that MAGA was a Jewish scam this entire time, and like, I ain't gonna lie, that right wing infighting, it's like my I love every single second of it. But regarding his argument, because you made a great point regarding jihadis, because correct me if I'm wrong, jihad just means struggle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right, exactly. It's a struggle against oppression. You know, they want to frame it as if it's this terroristic religious war that you know, Islamicists wage because that's just who they are. But they never want to acknowledge the power differential being exerted between 2 countries, in this case, Israel and Palestine, or, you know, the United States against the Middle East. And, you know, like I said, it's all political.
This is why I've been begging the United States left to decolonize their mind. It's one of the reasons why I'm blacklisted, because I ask questions. I'm like, bro, I want you guys to define what the fuck a terrorist is.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys realize every single progressive Democrat, every single one, including your favorite, they all condemn Hamas because they are a prescribed terrorist organization. And with Pat Abu Ghleia, whatever fuck her name is, she's being featured by the PSL, bro. She's a pro-NATO leftist, support war against China and Taiwan, that condemns Hamas. That's the progressive NATO left, and they just go along with it. And I'm like, why are we accepting their definition of what it means to be a terrorist, I'll just say? Because you guys see how jihadism and resistance or struggle against their crimes is considered a terrorist action. So anyone who resists, they're illegal. I'm talking about violating international law, their colonialism, their land grabs, their apartheid. Anyone who opposes the agenda of the ruling class, they will label as a terrorist. So the question I've been asking for years, Rathbone, as a citizen journalist, is how does it benefit the working class and liberation movements to accept their premise on what a terrorist is? Because I view a terrorist as someone who kills 160 school children.
Yeah. These are great points. And I would also say that, you know, if we take their definition of terrorism, which is political violence with the goal of advancing a political agenda, well, the CIA is the greatest terrorist group in the history of the world. So, the United States government itself is the greatest offender of terrorism. But you'll never hear that uttered by the mouth of a Jewish supremacist like Mark Levin, of course.
One more thing I want to say on that clip, and we gotta move on. We still got a bit to cover. But you guys see how these Jewish supremacists, anti-Arab racists, they use, and they've been doing this my entire life. They take basic terms that don't even mean shit, and they try to make it sound spooky. Like we used to tell an ordinary person that jihad just mean resistance. Oh, that's what it means. But in the same way, like where they demonize Muslims saying Allahu Akbar. But Pete Hegseth literally tweets Allahu Akbar every single day. Isn't that essentially God is great?
God is good. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
God is
Pete
great.
Hegseth, right when he started the war with Iran, what did he tweet out? Pete Hegseth, as he was bombing school children, was essentially tweeting the English version of Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
That's crazy.
Who's the real terrorist?
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, it's abundantly clear who the terrorists are.
Yeah, this man, he got the setup. This man right here got the setup. He watched it on my channel on the TV. He got Rathbone channel on the phone. So, fam, make sure you guys like the stream. Make sure you go to Rathbone stream if you're on my channel, like the stream. I loving this collaboration. I think these dual streams are extremely powerful. If you're on my channel, make sure you support the homie Rathbone. That setup is powerful. That's a powerful setup. I can't stand more Mark Levin, so let's move on. This is another. I'm showing you guys this because this is a pattern where like there can't be any more weakness on the left in fighting Jewish supremacy. In my position, and I view the United States left as largely complicit with the spread of Jewish supremacist censorship because they accepted. AOC supported the anti-Semitic crackdown. She legitimized the idea that there's an anti-Semitism problem on the left. And you guys see how they are pushing this hard in order to crack down on speed. But feel free, Rathbone, if you want to chime in.
I was just going to say, when you say the U.S. left, I think we have to be clear. It's the corporate-owned, compatible left, and the Zionists, they love to fund weak, ineffectual liberal candidates that they can, basically use as controlled opposition. Like you mentioned, Kat Abul Gawa or whatever her name is, and I feel like that's these NATO apologists, the progressive left. This is what they're and they touted that victory, like they defeated Kat Abul Gawa, like that was like, oh, thank God we saved ourselves from the scourge of Marxism. It's like it's another way of narrowing that Overton window so that people in their minds, they think that, like Donald Trump says, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Gavin Newsom are all Marxist communists, and it's just you could just say all these words and just confuse and confound and mystify people, and it seems to work like a charm. Anyway, that's just
I'm sorry. I just got to do my due diligence because I'm upset that these people are dragging what it means to be a socialist to the right, and I can't abide that. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get back to them because this is what the Jewish supremacists are pushing, and this is bipartisan.
We have a big problem with people on the left and even Democrats making outrageous statements against Trump, which inspires and essentially legitimizes harming Trump and his administration. They call Trump a war criminal. They said he's committing genocide in the Middle East. They say this is an unnecessary war, a racist, a rapist. They're going to impeach him. And listen to what Representative Jeffrey said.
I know this is kind of common sense, but if you don't want to be called a rapist, if you don't want to be called a racist, if you don't want to be accused of committing genocide, how about not doing that? You guys, they're trying to create a power structure where we're not allowed to criticize them or the government.
Yeah. Again, the right wing, left wing talk is ultimately a psyop, and we're not saying this. This guy Kleinstein or whoever it is, he's trying to make it seem like it's our reaction. We're completely just off base with how we're framing things. This is information that was produced by the ruling class. I mean, these are Epstein files. These are accusations made by the victims and the people that were a part of it. They incriminate themselves. So it's not like we made this up out of thin air.
This is everything that they accuse their enemies of. It's just pure projection because they want the kind of control that they project their enemies have. And if the left as a whole allows it to continue the way they have, because I've been one of the people that have been, and you as well, been strongly calling this out. We've been calling out the just smear of them. Like, why do we accept them smearing the American people as anti-Semitic and racist? Why do we accept them smearing peace-loving people as some sort of traitors? Mm-hmm. Like, it's very foul political behavior that they're engaging in. I'll just let this clip finish and then we move on.
He's committing genocide in the Middle East.
Let me go back.
Is harming Trump and his administration. They call Trump a war criminal. They said he's committing genocide in the Middle East. They say this is an unnecessary war, a racist, a rapist. They're going to impeach him. And listen to what Representative Jeffries said. Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the Senate, said this is an era of maximum warfare everywhere, all the...
All right, enough of this clown. This man thinks Hakeem Jeffries is Malcolm X. Enough of this. Bro, you realize that Hakeem Jeffries is on your side on this. He's a big... These
people that are... They're pearl clutching about supposed political violence on the left, and meanwhile Donald Trump is tweeting about how he's going to end an entire civilization through political violence. It's like it becomes clear that political violence is only when the bottom attacks the top, not when the top attacks the bottom, which is
very well
the
said.
Pervasive theme.
Very well said. So this is the bill they're pushing, and this kind of explains the whole Hassan Piker meltdown, even though he's very moderate as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
AIPAC funded Josh Goitmer and Mike Lawler put a resolution to condemn Hassan Piker and Candace Owens. So they're using popular social media influencers as a way to legitimize this for anti-Semitism and urge social media platforms to address such content. Go ahead, Rathbone. I just want to finish.
I just like the vilification of Hassan is, I feel like it's another, attempt to paint these very reasonable, moderate voices, like you're saying, as completely extreme, and it's very suspect. The fact that Hassan is now, it seems like he's being elevated as like a voice of the DNC, the Democratic Party, and he's like. To me, it's like he's sheepdogging people back into the Democratic Party, and they're trying to vilify. It's just it's another way of manufacturing consent, making it seem like there's really like a really hotly contested debate happening in the field of public opinion, and really it's not really that extreme. I don't find Hassan to be that extreme of a voice.
Not at all.
Yeah, as he's made out to be.
Supporting Palestinians in opposing genocide is such a mainstream position that we can find agreements even with more liberal-minded people like Hassan Piker, whose goal is to save the Democratic Party. But you guys see how they're using him. They needed one character on the left and one character on the right. They're using the character Hassan Piker on the left, the character Candace Owens on the right to legitimize this. They said the resolution condemns Piker for having downplayed sexual violence committed by Hamas. Come on, man. Bro, we just covered, and the Israeli guards openly admitted that they rape Palestinians to death using dogs. So who's really downplaying sexual assault? And I was thinking about doing a hotspot on this, but there's too much stuff to cover. I might do this on it one day, but this is from today. The coverage of sexual violence used by the Israelis is so overwhelming. The people who accuse the left of downplaying sexual violence and rape that they have no evidence of, they are actually guilty of it. Like illegal Israeli settlers use sexual violence to push Palestinians off their land. And they talk about the West Bank. And if you dive into this article, they explain how they leave constant threats towards Palestinian families, but they specifically name daughters and wives, and they tell these people, if you don't leave your house, we're going to mass rape your daughter and your wives. And that's one of the leading reasons why Palestinians leave their homes. And that's like one of the top threats that they use. And that's what this article in a nutshell sums up. So who's really doing sexual violence? But go ahead, Rathbone.
I think also they try to bad apple, they single out a voice and try to make it personal, like like in this case, Hassan, they claim is downplaying sexual violence on Octagon 7. But really what he did was he's just repeating the actual reports and studies that have been conducted on October 7th that reveal that there was no systemic graping, and indeed there was no evidence of any graping. So, you know, that's you would have to go and talk to, you know, Israeli publications like the 972 media report that basically debunked that whole story about the beheaded babies and the systemic graping that was claimed by the IDF that didn't happen.
Yeah,
that's all.
All right, let me begin to wrap this segment. We almost an hour in on. Damn, this show is flying, man. Let me wrap up this segment here. Here's Glenn Greenwald doing great reporting on Bari Weiss, and now we're going to get to how they are implementing this mass censorship in the level of the professional managerial class, because the only way you can actually oppose Israel is by being an independent media voice. That the Jewish supremacists hijacked all the media. You're not allowed to say it, but it's true. Bari Weiss was hired at CBS in order to turn it into a Zionist institution. And bro, I don't know who this London bureau chief is, but fam, I fucking promise you, I promise to God, there is no way this motherfucker was anti-Israel. The problem is he wasn't pro-Israel enough. Look at this. Bari Weiss outs London bureau chief because of her balanced, because of his, I'm sure it says his balanced coverage on Gaza and Iran. He replacing, oh sorry, it's a her. My apologies. She's replacing her with a pro-Israel stalwart. I mean, so essentially,
how does Bari Weiss have the authority and the power to oust a London bureau chief? I thought Bari Weiss was
her power comes. Isn't like David Ellison, Larry Ellison, or whatever, her boss, and it's a unique situation because the previous head of CBS didn't. When I first read on the story a few months ago, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. When I first read the story, they explained how the CBS editor-in-chief didn't directly report to the head boss before, but after they hired Bari Weiss, they have her like and directly report to the guy who owns the motherfucker. So Bari Weiss is like, hey, Mr. Ellison, get this motherfucker out of here.
And I misread that. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and the thing that makes this crazy is, bro, the UK has the most deranged pro-Zionist propaganda. I promise whoever this London bureau chief is, I promise you she's not like good on this issue, but that's how they have no tolerance for any dissent. But this will be the last part we read here, and I get your thoughts, Rathbone, because this is.
I mean, they assassinated Charlie Kirk, but you know, if that tells you anything, it's like
Axel Springer, CEO Mathis Doppler told political staff Monday that those uncomfortable with the company's core values, including support for Israel's right to exist, should work for other companies. This is what I mentioned earlier. I mentioned this a little earlier in the stream, but you guys see how they buy the media. You guys know what I mean by they. They buy the media, and then they demand loyalty pledges to their genocidal apartheid state in order to keep a job. And I remember I posted an image. I'm like, hey man, isn't it kind of crazy that all these Jewish supremacist Zionist Jews own the media? You guys know that I got hit with a community note from Elon Musk, Zionist Control X. You know what they said in that community note when I mentioned, and I had a graphic of all these media outlets owned by Zionist Rathbone. They said, we put a community note on your tweet because just because a Jewish person owns a news organization doesn't mean that they are forcing Jewish values on the reporters, and any implication that they are is an anti-Semitic trope. That is what they community noted me for. Not that I was wrong.
They never call you a liar, right? They just
Yeah, absolutely, Rathbone, absolutely. All right, let's wrap this segment.
Wait, just one more thing with this. I just that last tweet. I think it shows you, it proves, and I just like to highlight these things that there is no economic decision that isn't also political, and it's not why you can't separate politics from anything, at least of all an economy. And you know, here you see an example of that. The CEO is mandating all of his employees to support Israel. They don't call it a political economy for nothing.
Yeah. Very well said. Very well said. This is the guy who I was just playing, Axel Springer. You know, the guy who just told Politico that if you have a problem supporting Jewish supremacy in the state of Israel, you can't work here. Look at all the media outlets that he owns all over the world, in the UK, in Germany, in Poland. Owns Politico, that has massive influence in the United States. The Telegram.
Careful, Nick.
Business Insider. Go ahead, Rathbone.
Careful. You're bordering on egregious level of anti-Semitism right now. I want you to tread lightly, okay?
All right, fair enough. Because I don't want to get Rathbone channel in trouble again, let's wrap this segment up. I'm gonna use that as a way to finally transition out of this segment. So this is our second main story today, because the same Zionist scumbags that want you to believe that Russia, China, Iran, Venezuela doesn't represent their people, and as Democrats, rightfully so, are talking all sort of shit about Donald Trump being the most unpopular president in the modern era. And they have the right, like all of us do, to talk shit. But Democrats are right there with them. Like, how can you talk shit about how unpopular Donald Trump is when you, for one, lost to them and your numbers is similar to Donald Trump? Yeah. And so this is, I want to get your thoughts on this, Rathbone, because I'm sure you got a lot here. This is I keep my eye on this because I always bring up like how the United States government doesn't represent the people. Mm-hmm. And I always bring up the approval ratings of Congress. And now it hit a new low, 10%. 10% of the American people approve of Congress, an 86% disapproval rate. But don't worry, as I mentioned earlier, I have a great plan for them, Rathbone, to get themselves out of this problem. All they have to do is just send more money to Israel. I'm sure that'll fix it. But Rathbone, what's your thoughts?
So much sarcasm. Necessary, though, in this state of affairs. I see this at the bottom here. It says Americans' approval of Congress has fallen to 10%, barely above its all-time low of 9%. And I'm wondering, what other time in American history has it been lower? I would have thought, certainly, we have historically the worst president of the United States in American history, if we were to look at his poll ratings. I have a question, like what other time, was it actually worse? And it looks like you're looking for the answer.
Three of the 5 peaks in disapproval since 1974 coincided with a government shutdown or threat of one. These include the current Department of Homeland Security shutdown, now in its 10th week. The fall of 2013. So usually it's whenever there's like a government shutdown. Yeah,
there's a government.
The fall of 2023, the near shutdown of 2015. The disapproval also hit a high point in December 2011 and February 2012. So you guys see there's an ongoing pattern of Congress never representing us. Because this is last decade, right?
Yeah, maybe if the Congress did do a shutdown, if they just stopped doing everything, maybe their approval rating would go up.
That's kind of like the NYPD dilemma. You guys remember how like they shut down the NYPD and they were like, we're gonna boycott Zohran Mamdani, and so they boycotted Zohran Mamdani, and then crime actually dropped. Wow. So that'll probably be the best thing Congress can do, is just stop fucking showing up.
It's a thought.
It's a thought.
It might help. Wait, can we go back to that tweet? The actual headline. I wanted to say one more thing. So, tying the record high of the institution. Oh, I was just thinking like how there have actually been studies conducted about Senate votes and how they correlate with public opinion, and it turns out that whatever the attitudes of the public are, whatever their overwhelming majority of public opinion is on certain policy decisions, it's completely antithetical to the way the Senate votes. And it has to do with your income scale. So they found that the higher, whatever class in the socioeconomic, hierarchy that you belong to, if you're at the top, how you feel, what your attitudes are about what the government should be doing is perfectly in line with how the Senate votes. And as you go down the income scale, it becomes actually harmful. It becomes the opposite of what the public majority wishes. So, I mean, it's another case in point there.
That's why I hate the democratic socialist label, and I immediately think you're sus when you use it. Do you think Western liberal democracy is the height of what it means to be a democratic society?
Right. How are you going to organize against fascists with these weak, ineffectual liberals that can't get anything done? I mean, it's by design. Obviously, they're playing a role and they're successful at it, but that's what fascism requires. Not to use like a buzzword, but the point I'm trying to make is that the only thing that competently contradicts right-wing fascist capitalism are communists, are socialists. That's why they're vilified and even expunged from the the terrain of acceptable ideas that we can even discuss in America. It's like it's taboo to even talk about or speak positively about socialist movements, actual socialist movements.
People will say this is a failure of liberal democracy, but you guys realize this is how liberal democracy works.
Exactly. It's working as it was designed perfectly.
And it's
a well-oiled machine.
Yes, it's well-oiled because as you scroll through here, because I was reading this as I was preparing my hotspot video. Look at this, Rathbone. Congress approval ratings have been mostly underwater since 1974. Bro, that's like my birth year.
Yeah, that's pretty revealing because we know that the early 70s was literally the where neoliberalism became a thing, and corporate class war really kicked it into high gear, and there was all this campaign funding, and it became about how much money you could raise if you wanted to be a candidate for Congress. If you wanted to win, you had to outspend, you had to outfund the candidate. So Republicans and Democrats alike both had to acquiesce to those that actually had a lot of money, corporations. So they became bought off, and you could see how the approval rating of the public precipitously declined ever since. And we talked about the Lewis Powell memo recently, which was from 1971 or 72, and that was a very influential memo that basically outlined the policies of neoliberalism, and it was very influential among government agencies and corporations alike, and it basically promoted this idea of alliance capitalism, that it was better for corporations to think of themselves as a class and not be so competitive with each other, that they could actually coordinate and because they're ultimately their enemy is the American public, which they frame it as like crazy Marxists, of course, like leftists are overrunning our institutions, which was complete nonsense. But yeah, the 70s were an interesting decade for all of those reasons.
We're still in the Ronald Reagan regime.
Yes. Every president since Reagan has been Reagan. We had the nerdy Reagan with George H.W. Bush.
Nerdy Reagan.
We had the cool Reagan with Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
We had Black Reagan. We had dumb Reagan with George W. Bush, retard Reagan, and then we had Reagan. Reality TV show Reagan. Yeah, and Grandpa Reagan with Joe Biden.
What a massive success for liberal democracy. I say success because this is how it's supposed to work. You guys see how we've been stuck with the same regime? That's damn near slur that they call Iran. They're like, the Iranian regime. They use like a hard R. Like,
there it is.
I'm like, God damn. Yeah, I tweeted this out a long time ago. This is a hood certified classic.
Yeah, there you go. See, I didn't think of it. Obviously, it's all been memed. I'm just a collection of memes at this point. Like I have them all up here.
Good minds think alike. This is like
that's right.
I remember tweeting this out like a few years ago. We got Reagan classic, nerd Reagan, cool Reagan with Bill Clinton. I would say rapist Reagan. Actually, they've been pretty too nice.
Actually, just because he could play a saxophone and he kissed a black baby, so now he's cool.
God damn, liberalism really rotted the minds of people.
It really did.
Bro, this war criminal who starved 500,000 Iraqi children, this man went on Arsenio Hall's TV show, and then they were like, oh, these motherfuckers must be cool. That's how goy fucking brainwashed Americans was. I know things are bad now, but bro, in the 90s, 80s, and 70s, the ruling class, they was having field days, no internet. They controlled all the information, bro. Y'all don't stand no chance. They had this motherfucker playing saxophone. Thought he was cool.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Like, we're not going back because we have the internet now. We have independent media. But in the 90s and the 80s, I mean, it was like four or five corporations that controlled. Literally, studies have been shown that 4 or 5 media corporations controlled 90% of everything that the American people heard, read, or saw, and that's obviously changed with good reason. Yeah,
I know there's some dark parts about the internet, but man, that the liberation of the working class and giving us freedom of information, that was such a gigantic leap forward for humanity. I cannot emphasize that enough. But anyway,
even then we still got fucked over because that's our invention. That was a working class invention. We paid for it through years of taxpayer money to innovate using the state sector that innovated the internet and all of the many tools and gadgets that we enjoy. And they robbed it from us. And early on in the .com revolution, remember we it was championed as this great equalizer. It was going to bring everyone together because everyone's going to have access to the same information. And what happened? I mean, Silicon Valley became a private tyranny. It hasn't lived up to what it was made out to be early on. That's because I would argue because of the mandates imposed by the political economy of capitalism. You can't be altruistic in this economy. I mean, you're going to get undercut, you're going to get undermined, you're going to get sabotaged by people that don't have those same values. So like you said, it's a race to the bottom, and I think that's what we've seen.
Very well said, brother. Very well said. As always, I'm greatly enjoying this conversation. We still have one more segment to quickly cover. But I think this meme is a classic. I just wanted a reason to bring it back. So one thing I will really change is I will call Bill Clinton. That's rapist Reagan, dumb Reagan, eloquent Reagan, rich Reagan.
Rapist Reagan there too. I mean, there's a few of them we could put there. Pedophile.
I guess that's a common trait among the Reagans. You can't become a Reagan.
Yeah. I guess Reagan didn't need to do all that because he had the throat goat. He had Nancy, so he was taken care of. And so was half of Hollywood apparently as well.
Bro, I heard Laura Loomer is the new throat goat of DC.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that meme where it's like how the age of empire has declined, and it was like it's a picture of like it was JFK with Marilyn Monroe. Then you had Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, and now you have Trump with Laura Loomer. It's like, damn.
Bro, can you imagine that the post-nut depression that you would suffer after getting a blowjob from Laura fucking Loomer, bro?
Yeah, I need a lot of therapy after that.
Well, I guess if you're an 80-year-old man, you can do worse. But Jesus Christ, he is an 80-year-old man. But fucking Laura Loomer, bro, come on, man.
She's got a bigger bulge in her pants than I do.
So, Congress, the United States government, completely illegitimate. So, whenever you hear these ruling class motherfuckers talking all of this shit, trying to force their beliefs on the American people that is not popular, you have to remind them that they are not legitimate. They are the illegitimate regime. And what's the funniest thing that I've been seeing since this? This is the next part of the segment here. The funniest thing is as Congress hits a record amount of approval rating, you want to know what headlines are spreading around corporate media in the West? They've been reporting this from the BBC, from CNN. I think this is Reuters here. They are reporting the story about how Vladimir Putin is being the Russian people are turning against Vladimir Putin. Like, go ahead, search Putin in your Google search right now and look at all the articles talking about how Putin approval ratings is falling. Like, this is one of the headlines. Look, Putin approval ratings falls to the lowest since the Ukraine war, states pollster says. So, man, Putin must really be in trouble, right, Rathbone? Like, here's another headline, bro. You can find these. This is a media narrative that they've been pushing. It's coordinated over the last 2 weeks. The Russian people turning against Putin. Here's another one. Putin faces elite dissent as approval ratings slide. So there's this new narrative that Putin is losing the Russian people as the United States Congress has a 10% approval rating. But you want to know what number they're quoting as some sort of decline? Look, approval ratings fall. State-run polls show that Putin's support slipping to 65%. Nigga, you mean 2/3 of the Russian people?
Yeah. Yeah. So he's still majority approved by the people of Russia.
Bro, European politicians and American politicians would literally kill. I mean literally.
Yeah.
They would kill for a 65% approval rating. You guys see how this is the low point for Putin? Putin to get 2/3 of Russian people in Western media like, oh, look, the Russian people are rebelling against Putin. Meanwhile, Congress, 10% approval rating.
Yeah. It's just the way that they frame it, right? I mean, the way that they frame the information is completely misleading. That's why you can't trust a goddamn word that Reuters and BBC and the like say.
Not a single one. Look at the headline. This is from DW, the German CNN, and I love debunking propaganda for them because their Germany corporate media is as deranged and as delusional as BBC, as the United States. Look at the headline here. You guys see what the narrative they're pushing? Putin's approval rating drops as Russians grow tired of economic pain from the war. Remind you, 65% of the people support Russian. So you guys see how this is a coordinated media push, not only just in the United States, but all over Europe. Every single media outlet is taking the story of Putin low approval rating. And I'm going to play just a little bit of this so you guys can see how laughable this desperate propaganda is.
Russia, where the approval ratings of Vladimir Putin are slipping, and some people are daring to speak out about the problems ordinary Russians are facing, such as internet restrictions, higher taxes, a struggling economy. A popular Russian blogger recently posted a 90-minute video on Instagram criticizing many aspects of life in Russia. It got millions.
Oh, Rathbone, I thought you wasn't allowed to do that.
Yeah, wait, what?
Isn't it interesting how they hold two thoughts at once when they keep telling us that Russia is some sort of authoritarian, totalitarian government where you're not allowed to criticize Putin? Then on the same breath, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we found this Russian blogger who criticized Putin. I thought
what a great point, because we were just reading Black Shirts and Reds by Michael Parenti, and I just happened to come across that same point he raised. He's like, if Russians voice their dissent, that just shows that it's it's political fodder for the Americans to say, look, they're unhappy with the regime, but if they're completely approving of the Russian regime, well, that means because they can't speak out, they can't actually. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. No matter what, they're gonna frame the story as a negative because we're Russophobes in the West. We have that Cold War mentality. It's still stuck in our minds.
You guys see how we made it only 20 seconds in the clip, Rathbone, and we already caught so many lies. Yeah. And I already knew the chat would help me out here because he's talking shit about the economy. Meanwhile, the Russian GDP is higher. You guys know that Russia is charging 2 times more for Russian oil and gas than they was before the SMO. And you realize that that not Israel, but India is paying 2 times more, and they're buying more Russian gas than ever before. Russia is making fucking bank, and
it's a windfall. Yeah,
Putin is leading Russia into becoming a global superpower.
Right.
And as Savvy Bite said, Russia's GDP is 5%, and US is only 2%. And you know what? The only response I watch these people like, oh, you know me, you guys know I'm a glutton for punishment. I watch these people like, oh, you want to know what they say whenever you bring up the Russian GDP and the Chinese GDP being around 5%? They're like, well, it's fake numbers, no evidence. Oh, it can't be real. We don't believe it. It's just pure denialism. One more thing I'll say before I continue this clip. You guys see how they mention how Russian internet crackdowns, even though they just about to show you a Russian vlogger criticizing Putin. So apparently it's not that much internet crackdown. But you guys know that Russia allowed the BBC to operate within Russia. You guys know that they allow European media to operate within Russia. But the UK doesn't allow RT. So who's really restricting the internet? And also, who's arresting doctors for opposing genocide that their government support? Our friend
That's
Dr.
a great point.
You got to realize they monitoring her social media posts. every single time she posts on social media, she needs a lawyer to look over it, or the British government will kidnap her. These are the people that are saying that Russia. I'm gonna show you guys that here. I have it saved somewhere, where she explains how every tweet has to be reviewed by a lawyer. They arrest more people than any other country in the world based on what you post on social media in the UK. But the allies of the UK, they want to talk about the political oppression in Russia. Get the fuck out of here. But we only made it 20 seconds in before we raised out. So let's watch a little bit more of this, because I think we're mostly witnessing their cope, Rathbone, because this is the way they're going to try to spin Putin as being unpopular, despite the fact that every single European leader is historically underwater. Keir Starmer is like the most unpopular prime minister, well, since Liz Truss. But they both are historically unpopular. Friedrich Merz is hated and despised by the German people. Emmanuel Macron is deeply underwater and faces protests every week. But they want you to believe that the Russian people are finally turning against Putin. Pure code.
Vladimir Putin are slipping, and some people are daring to speak out about the problems ordinary Russians are facing, such as internet restrictions, higher taxes, a struggling economy. A popular Russian blogger recently posted a 90-minute video on Instagram criticizing many aspects of life in Russia.
Oh my God.
It got millions of views and sparked a wider debate about the direction that Russia is going in.
Vladimir Putin has an image problem. A post with nearly 30
million. He has an image problem. Remember, 2/3 of Russians support him, though. But let's continue.
Okay, then the guy's name is Satan. Satanovsky. Sounds pretty Jewish.
Yeah, he definitely got some fucking bald Jewish ties.
Silence.
Vladimir Vladimirovich, people are afraid of you. Bloggers are afraid, musicians are afraid, governors are afraid. And yet you are the president of our country. I don't think we should be afraid of you.
In a long video, lifestyle influencer Victoria...
Once again, I will repeat the point. I thought these kind of videos was illegal in Russia. Wasn't we told that, Rathbone? I thought that was the case.
Bunya, who has 13 million followers on Instagram, says she's speaking for the Russian people. She lays out what many Russians have been talking about privately and on social media for a while: internet restrictions, economic struggles, and police pressure on businesses. The only thing she leaves out is the war in Ukraine. Openly criticizing the Russian aggression has already sent hundreds to prison. But for many Russians, this kind of criticism resonates. Gauging public opinion in Russia is a lot harder since the start of the Ukraine war. Many people fear direct repercussions for giving honest answers. But even under these circumstances, a state-run research center has showed a drop in Vladimir Putin's approval rating for the first time in 4 years of full-scale war.
But you know how long they've been waiting to say that? To the point where even a meager drop in just one poll leads them to do these deranged propaganda segments.
67% is still high for a European leader, but analysts point to a steady downward trend.
Hold up. Let's catch that part.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I stopped it a little bit too soon. Let's listen to that part, because here they acknowledge that essentially the entire premise of this segment.
Yeah, exactly.
67% is still high for a European leader, but analysts point to a steady downward trend.
Oh, come on. It's slowly going down, guys. Something to celebrate. 65%. Bro, European leaders will fucking murder for that. We can watch a little bit more.
For most Russian citizens, the war has stopped functioning as a kind of drug for Putin. There were 4 major spikes in his popularity, all caused by different wars.
By the way, one thing that they won't mention and that Western media won't mention, and I know this because I know Russian sources in Moscow, you guys know the people who are the most critical of Putin in the special military operation are the people who believe that Putin is being too soft on Ukraine. You guys realize that, right? There are a lot of people who believe that Putin is slow walking this, that he should need to fucking annex Ukraine already because Russia is taking a very casualty averse angle. So that's the criticism he's actually facing. But let's finish this guy's point up and then we move on.
As the effect
I won't keep you too much longer, Rathbone.
Of this military mobilization wears off, approval drops, and issues like the economy, healthcare, and education rise again.
Russia's economy has been performing poorly too. In just the first 3 months of this year, the budget deficit has already exceeded the plan for all of 2026. At a recent meeting with economic officials, Putin acknowledged the slowdown.
Statistics show that for the second month in a row, economic dynamics have unfortunately been declining. In January and February, there was a contraction of 1.8%.
I'm glad that the chat can see that this is pure bullshit too. Like the chat is, I love how both our channels like are live fact checking this video as we go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I can't pull up all of them, but once again, the chat I put up earlier, the GDP difference is astounding. Obviously, economies can always be better. Ruling class can always provide better for their people. But quick question, Rathbone. What society has an epidemic of medical bankruptcies? Russia or America?
I believe that would be the United States. I don't give a fuck. You bring up a great point. I don't give a fuck what's going on inside the Russian domestic, population. Like, we have enough problems here in the United States that you've just outlined, and they're all in spades. They're all decidedly worse than anything we're going to pearl clutch about the Russian state. So please spare me.
Very well said. Washington's self-induced energy crisis leaves Moscow as the only option. So I've been covering how Donald Trump's historic blunders and how Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping have been playing him like a moron on the chessboard over his second term, even worse than they did the first term. And this article, just to wrap up, I know we're running long on time. This article explains how the West have tried to wane themselves on Russian energy forever. But ever since Donald Trump started this war with Iran, it led to even European countries starting to break that pledge and leads to many Western allied countries to be forced to buy Russian gas. Russian gas that is marked up 2 times more expensive. This is what the article outlines. They charging 2 times more for Russian gas. You guys know that Narendra Modi folded to the Biden administration and started buying less Russian gas. Then Donald Trump took office, started this war with Iran, and India was like, all right, you guys can go fuck yourself. And now they buy more Russian gas than ever. European countries are now begging to buy Russian energy, and now they're making bank, and that's independently funding their war operation. And now, and the smartest among the ruling class, they're not too smart, but these are the people who are the smartest among the ruling class, realizing the missteps that the ruling class is making. That's why they write this article. This article in a nutshell is like, bro, you guys are really fucking through and allow Vladimir Putin to fund his war effort against NATO just so you can kill school children in Iran? Mm-hmm. Where are we benefiting from this? And this coming from a neocon perspective. But so I'll just read the first 2 sentences here. You can see the tone of this article, and you can see the neocon dismay at the incompetence of the Trump administration. Washington did not intend to strengthen Russia when it launched its campaign against Tehran, but that is exactly what's happening. And the longer this conflict drags on, the more the global energy crisis is exacerbated. Russia's war chest will only accelerate in its rate of replenishment, not despite U.S. policy, but because of it. So go ahead, Rathbone.
I just think it's incredibly ironic that in our effort to preserve the colonial periphery of the U.S. empire through all of these interventionist tactics, we're actually precipitating and accelerating the downfall of our hegemony. And I think that's what you're seeing. We're making our enemies, we're trying to make them weaker. We're actually making them stronger, faster, better.
Yeah. This is what I mentioned earlier. I just want to show you guys the receipt. We pretty much done with that segment now. But this is what I mentioned. They're talking about Russian internet crackdowns. Very interesting. Because this is my friend Rame Aldawan. Like this is
in Britain?
Yeah, in the UK. She's a doctor of high standing, never had a medical complaint, but now she's being arrested, charged with terrorism, not because she did anything violent like many of the Jewish NHS doctors who actively support a genocide. You guys know there are people in the NHS, and this is what Rami Aldawan brings up. There are Jewish doctors that serve the IDF in the NHS. They come back home after murdering Palestinians, and they just allowed to perform a medical practice while being a war criminal. Would you trust Rathbone, a doctor, a Jewish supremacist doctor who served the IDF and was murdering Gazan children? I wouldn't want that fucking doctor to serve to treat me. The fuck you
I wouldn't want a Jewish supremacist, giving me my McDonald's Happy Meal at the drive-thru. Okay, I don't trust him for a fucking second.
But Dr. Rami Aldawan, and the best among the NHS, as you have genocidal doctors in the NHS, the doctor that is calling out genocide is the one that's being attacked and punished by the UK state. And I'll just read her tweet. And this is real European fascism, as they pretend they care about Russia. I am a doctor, a Palestinian, a British citizen. These are my bail conditions for tweets. Tweets. One phone, one laptop, no deleting history. The police can inspect her devices anytime. This is the UK. This is the country that AOC said she want to model her socialism off of.
This lady is based. I didn't know, but I just want to thank the Zionists for putting her on my radar. Now I can follow her.
Oh, I have done multiple segments on what they have put this gorgeous soul through.
Yeah, what did she do? She must be very influential.
Fam, calling her base is such a massive understatement, because she was like, yeah, you guys took everything from me, but I will never stop fighting against genocide. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because she is such a strong spirit, now they're like, all right, fuck it, we can't break you financially. We're just going to implement fascism and lock you up. And the amount of high-profile Jewish supremacists and public officials calling for essentially the death of this woman for opposing UK genocide, which is against their law, because you got to know, according to the UK law, it's illegal for them to provide aid and military equipment to a country committing genocide.
Yep.
So in order to cover up their crimes, they're going after doctors and locking them up. Not only doctors, I don't want to make it just about people of a higher class, but anyone who calls out genocide. But then they turn around, Rathbone, and they do segments talking about how Russia engaged in internet censorship. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you think this is? A home curfew? She has a curfew, fam. Only allowed to have one social media account. So tell me more. And this is why I would never apologize for the fact that I'm rooting for Russia over these fascist motherfuckers in Europe. Remember, this is what Ursula von der Leyen said. Europe has the values of the Talmud, and it's showing right now. So, Rathbone, any final thoughts? I have a maybe I can do the segment on King Charles quick, but I don't want to take too much of your time.
Oh, it's cool. No, we can do it. I have a question for you. I wanted to talk about just because I feel like you're one of the few people that I trust, and I just wanted to ask you did you see that feud that was happening between Dan Bilzerian and Dave Smith on Twitter? The back and forth that they've been going.
I seen a little bit of it. I covered a little bit of Dan Bilzerian and his based ass campaign against Randy Fine. I saw the clip of where TMZ was melting down over him being a fat Jew.
Yeah. Well, they're going at it. I don't know. I think it's weird because both Dave Smith and Dan Bilzerian are anti-Zionist. They're very critical of Israel, but Dave Smith is Jewish. Dan Bilzerian is not Jewish, and I feel like Dave is not looking too good with this. Like, he called Dan Bilzerian a retard and made fun of him because he became famous for
Dave. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Dave.
Yeah, no, do it. He's
one of those people that said is he one of the people that denied Zionist infiltration in the United States government.
Yeah, that's really suspect.
He also condemns Hamas. He was like, anyone who supports Hamas is a retard. I would never forget him saying that because I called him out to debate most.
Okay. See, I didn't know that he said that, but to me, I don't agree with everything that Dan says, and I don't agree with everything that Dave said. I think they're sympathetic to capitalism. We're both anti-capitalists, but it's just an interesting contradiction. I feel like playing out, and it leads me to think like, man, Dave just does not look good with this. Like, why wouldn't you, instead of calling Dan Bilzerian names? I mean, Dan Bilzerian is putting some foreskin in the game. He's running for Congress against that fat fuck Randy Fine, and I hope he wins. But Dave Smith is an influential podcaster. To me, it'd be like, okay, let's have you on and talk about your campaign. like you're doing something good. Let's get some more eyeballs, some more awareness on it. But I don't know. I find it pretty suspect that
I have a hard time trusting these libertarian bros, especially people like Dave.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because Dave Smith was warned about Trump. He still voted for Donald Trump, despite Donald Trump being a diehard Zionist, moving Jerusalem, making that the capital of Israel. He was enabling West Bank raids. Same thing Democrats do. He continued the mantle. He married his daughter off to a Chabad Jewish supremacist. And he's obviously a fake Christian. He's a subversive. He's essentially a crypto Jew in a lot of ways.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Donald Trump. And this is why
Donald Trump. Yeah.
Why do you guys think this dumbass guy Sean the Apprentice? I was just talking to Jimmy Dore about this. Me and Jimmy, we had a conversation about all the tricks the ruling class play. Fam, you're not getting a Sean the Apprentice unless you're a Jewish supremacist and you got deep ties to the Zionist machine. And I think ultimately that's why Dave Smith supported him, is that kind of solidarity. And these are the kind of things I've been calling him out on. I'll show old tweets of me warning and calling out Dave for supporting Donald Trump. And I was like, and you can see why I was like, bro, you realize that Donald Trump is a puppet of Israel, right? He like, oh, well, you guys just got Trump derangement syndrome. The thing that turned me off on Dave is there was a lot of people who liked him who felt betrayed. Like there were a lot of libertarians who was like, hey, Dave, I think it's a wrong idea. Even if the Libertarian Party is not up to our standard, you should be propping up Donald Trump. This smug attitude that he showed who was warning him. And then he won't turn around because Donald Trump is obviously a failure and MAGA is now politically toxic. He just want to turn around and say, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I grifted and lied to the American people and led us down to ruin. I think there need to be way more accountability than you simply saying, oops, my bad.
Yeah,
I accidentally supported genocide. Oops, I betrayed the working class who was warning us about Donald. So that's why I have a hard time forgiving Dave Smith. I gave Tucker Carlson credit because Tucker Carlson showed real remorse over misleading people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, I'm sorry. No, whatever.
Yeah.
Smug and flipping about it. Like, bro, you guys
a little condescending.
Yeah, they have a lot to make up for. Like, I'm not a cancel culture guy. I think everyone can be redeemed. But if you're one of the people who rally for and advocate for Trump, you got a lot to make up for it. I mean, materially. Like, I need to see you donating your money to the Palestinians. I need you to support mutual aid. You can't just say, you can't go on a podcast, you can't go on Piers Morgan and be like, well, sorry guys, I was wrong about Trump, my bad. Please support me on Patreon and still make money giving political analysis that help the ruling class. And deep points is why Dave Smith has been actively avoiding me. He actively avoids anyone who's actually a real debater. He will debate these dipshit Zionists, but people like Hazal did from the ACP. He's a fantastic debater on communism. In terms of debating, I think he'd probably be one of the most solid people to have. Like, they've been calling out Dave Smith to debate. He won't do it.
He won't do it.
The only people he want to debate are these dipshit fucking Zionists who anyone could debate. I select any random motherfucker in the chat. Like, pick any one of these pick any one of these chat. I'll pick any person in the chat versus these Zionists that they put out. Piers Morgan. Dave Smith debating these Zionists means nothing. Debate a fucking Marxist for once. Debate someone who understands the history of imperialism and someone who's willing to criticize your subtle Jewish supremacist takes on Israel, where you deny the connection between imperialism and the Jewish state. But anyway, Rathbone, I think we have 90 minutes, so I don't want to get too much time. Any final thoughts?
I just want to say, I am, just to conclude about our little discussion about Dan and Dave, I identify as a socialist, a communist, a Marxist-Leninist because of the very real material conditions that I'm living through, right? My own socioeconomic status. And I unequivocally support Dan Bilzerian for Congress because I recognize what principally, is the clear antagonism of our day, the clear issue of our day, which is our support of Israel. But I as a sort of a third order of importance, I disagree with Dan's take on history, and he sometimes he loves to talk about the Bolshevik genocide and all of these sort of ahistorical talking points, and I think he does that. I'm not sure, but I think he wants to, correct. I mean, he wants to counter the narrative that we've been fed about, the Holocaust and all this stuff. And I get that, But if he's doing this to defame socialism and actual authentic socialist movements, that is what I take issue with. But really, you know, your interpretation of history, I feel like, is sort of an academic talking point, and really what we should be focused on is the present situation. And the, you know, I think he would understand that, you know, American people are being exploited. The American working class is being exploited. He talks about being America first. So I feel like he could understand, you know, in so many words, as long as we didn't use those bad scare words, he would understand, you know, the class struggle. But, you know, I don't know. I just wanted to get your thoughts basically about that sort of feud and you know,
Randy Fine losing would be fucking incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be incredible. I'm not in Florida, so my position on the race is mostly irrelevant. But it will be incredible to see Randy Fine lose. The last thing I want to share, this is the kind of discourse that we will have, that will happen with Dave Smith. While I was warning about voting for Donald Trump, I say if you voted for Donald Trump, you are a Zionist. Like, these are the things I was saying. I was warning these people. You know, all the people going on these apology tours now. The same people, oh my God, I never knew. I never knew. Like, I'm like, bitch, Donald Trump is a Zionist. Stop fucking pretending. So Dave Smith's response to me, well, I was like, if you vote for Donald Trump, you are a Zionist. I don't want to fucking hear it. You're a Zionist. And he said, this is what Dave Smith's response to me. And he uses send out these snipes. And then he will, I'm like, hey man, you want to talk about this live on stream? And then his supporters, to defend him being a coward, they're like, well, Nick, you're just trying to griff off his name. No, I'm trying to have a fucking debate. Are we sharing ideas, or are you only sharing ideas with people who are popular? What does that say? That you got to have a prescribed follower account in order for you to debate someone, which is hilarious because my follower account is way higher than many of these Zionists that he actually debated. But anyway, let me read it to you. I don't want to get too much into it. Our audience knows my history with Dave Smith. But look, as I call out him supporting Donald Trump being this is what he said. Just because you vote for someone does not mean you agree with them on everything, especially their worst position. This thinking, like socialism, is incredibly stupid.
Socialism catching us astray.
You guys see how you have to? You see how he's a diehard anti-communist, anti-socialist.
Yeah,
and this is why people have been begging him to debate a real socialist. That's why I called him out. And now, after saying this bullshit, this liberal bullshit, in order to lead libertarians down the Donald Trump route, you're like, well, just because we don't agree on Trump on everything, like genocide and wars, you know, the thing that we posted. You know, there's the war.
It's just a small thing. He's trying to minimize, like, you know, the biggest issue of our day, which is Zionist capture of the government. But you're right. He sort of defends it. He rejects this, like you said, the Zionist infiltration, the talking point.
And that's why I roll my eyes whenever you go on the show. Like, I'm sorry. Like, bitch, I told you. That's why I respond to this tweet. I say, it doesn't matter if you don't agree with them. You gave them power, dipshit.
Nice.
If only someone would have warned you. But now that's why I don't accept these people's apologies that easily, because you did propaganda. And to be clear, I made this point many times on the show, but for people on your channel who don't know me as well, I made the point all the time that I'm willing to forgive people in the working class who was misled by propaganda.
Absolutely.
Because we are the most propagandized country in the world. Many people are struggling with the everyday life, affording food for the family, just affording to live. So they may not have time to dive through the details like we do. So if you was misled by Trump and MAGA propagandists, I'm actually very lenient towards those people, believe it or not. I know I sound crazy on stream, but I'm actually very lenient to these people in real life. You want to know who I'm not lenient to, Rathbone? And this is why people think I'm just a fire thrower. I am not lenient towards people who engage in the propaganda. Like, I forgive the people who fall for it, but if you're a Dave Smith and you manipulated your libertarian supporters into supporting Donald Trump, you misled them, that's something that you got to atone for. And that's something that is completely unacceptable. People doing propaganda for the Democratic Party, propaganda for the Republican Party, people who are doing the propaganda versus people who are victims of the propaganda, that is a significantly different thing. And I will treat people who are engaged in propaganda as the enemy of the working class, as we should. But anyway, Rathbone, I'm going to get you out of here. Any final thoughts?
Well, after all that you just said, I like Dave Smith even less now. So there you go. No, you hit the nail on the head. You've got such great insight, and I appreciate our collaborations.
Yeah, I can't wait. You down to do it again next week? I think we can do it. I think we can do a double collaborate. Are you free next Wednesday? We got to do something.
I would love that. I would love that. Yes, let's do it. Let's do next Wednesday. Let's try to keep to our schedule. I'm sorry, like I said, I didn't make it last week, but
it's all good.
I do appreciate our collabs.
Yeah, if you guys can't tell, I enjoy these conversations. I plan on keeping this an hour, but we did 90 minutes just like that. I'm gonna edit the title of on the YouTube side because I know I didn't cover King Charles, but I decided to say that for Sarah because you guys don't have Sarah for DDG on Friday. I know she's gonna really love the. If you don't know, just a preview. King Charles essentially gave a speech where he called for World War III. He called for Article 5 to be implemented, and all the Democrats who was protesting about having no kings, they gave him a standing applause. So
wasn't that in reference to Ukraine, like how he was trying to get support for Ukraine against Russia, basically.
He calling for World War III, fam. Actually, I've covered on Friday, but essentially he was calling for unequivocal support for Ukraine, Article 5. Yeah. He brought up how remember how we used Article 5 when you guys were attacked on 9/11 and you guys start fucking up the Middle East and torturing folks. We supported you guys. As you killed 2 million Iraqis.
Yeah, I did see that clip. Yeah, it's like,
bro, I don't think that's the flex you think it is, bro. But we'll cover that more in detail on Friday. I will keep this to 90 minutes today. Thank you, Rathbone, for showing up. Anything you want to promote? Are you streaming live today? Any streams coming up? Anything?
I'm not sure. I basically my main thing is I live stream on YouTube, as I'm sure a lot of people here know that I'm on Monday through Friday. Yep. And that's mainly it. I think we covered so much. It was really
we're gonna be back next Wednesday, so no need to burn ourselves out. So thank you, Rathbone. I'll pop you in the bag. I'm gonna have my friend Zoya help us close out on the Nick Cruse side. So thank you for joining us, Rathbone. Zoya's love. We got a lot of chats to cover, so you guys know if you're. We're gonna do a Q&A with my friend Zoya's love, Zoya's life. I'm gonna. I'll let Rathbone in his stream on his side. Zoya, you there, my friend? You mind leading this Q&A as we wrap the stream up? I love Rathbone. He's fucking base as hell, man.
Yeah, and the chat loves both of you guys. You have great chemistry, and you're both funny.
Yeah.
So we get
Rathbone is a natural. Yeah, he's a natural. It's so easy to bounce ideas off his head, just like Jimmy. Like I had fun time talking with Jimmy last week, and same with Rathbone. He's a fantastic bloke. Fantastic. Zoya, you mind helping us wrap here?
Let's get into it. I'd love to. Sevens Dust, thank you for the $10. Do not adjust your televisions.
we got a super chat from Rathbone too, but it should be interesting to read those for sure.
Cynthia Hall, thank you for the $2 super sticker. Refractress Spirituosa gifted Rathbone 5 memberships. Thank you for the support. Both chats are linked, so it's funny. We're getting a lot of new people and overlap. Yeah. Marvin Vargas, thank you for the $2. Topic: which athletes' movie stars have kissed the wall? Yeah, that would definitely be interesting.
If they didn't kiss a wall, they had to engage in some sort of humiliation ritual. That's for sure.
Like attend a P. Diddy party.
Yeah, attend a Diddy party. You gotta dress up as a woman like Tyler Perry. That's what Dave Chappelle mentioned. Like, bro, in order to be like a black male actor, you have to dress as a trans woman at least once in your career. It's like one of the things they force you to do to show your loyalty. Every single one did it, and the people who refuse to do it, like Eddie Griffin, a famous Kansas City comedian who's unbelievably underrated. We talked about Eddie Griffin before. He's one of the people like, Nick, you're not gonna dress me up in a fucking dress, bro. It's not gonna happen. He refused to do the humiliation rituals, and that's why he got canceled from Hollywood. Damn, any person you see that had a long, like 20 to 25 year career in Hollywood is sus as fuck. It's extremely sus. Yeah, Cat Williams. So I'm glad at least someone knows what I'm talking about. If in the black community, in black Twitter, this is very well known. And think about every single black actor, every single one. Terry Crews, all of them. Jamie Foxx, all of them was forced to dress and do humiliation rituals at least once in their career, and the ones who didn't was forced to, their career was ended. It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, CIA has an office in Hollywood, so they've definitely been dabbling in blackmail and social engineering, and they have declassified documents talking about it. So it's definitely true. And I remember Cat Williams' interview exposing this stuff. He wasn't holding anything back. Michael, thank you for the $4.99. Ask Nick why he opposes Sabi about New York City mayor raise taxes on the rich.
Why do you feel like oppose to Sabi? You guys love your personality conflicts, huh? What do you mean oppose to Sabi? I don't know what her take is on this, but as a Marxist, my ultimate goal is not just to tax the rich. Like that's social democrat bullshit. And Michael Prendy talk about this all the time. Like in the West, they substitute real class war with meaningless reforms like tax the rich. We not here. We don't give a fuck about taxing the rich. We're here to seize the means of production. You understand? If you don't know the difference, Michael Prendy did a great speech on it. So any victories that Jean can achieve for the New York working class will be good, but he haven't actually delivered anything on paper yet. Like he still haven't given them free buses yet. So I'm not one of the people that is on the bandwagon. I will never be on the bandwagon cheering for a politician. Let them deliver. Let them deliver victory for the working class. Why the fuck are you guys playing cheerleader? That doesn't accomplish anything for the working class. You've been brainwashed to do that. So if Zoran accomplished one thing for the working class, I'm going to demand him to accomplish 2 more. If he accomplishes 2 more, we demand him accomplish 5. The code of personality that people have, where they're like, Nick, come on, celebrate Zoran for this. No, nigga, our job is to hold these politicians and be adversarial for them. So I don't know what Sabi said about this. Like I don't even watch a lot of these independent media channels, bro. I do my own coverage, and I have my own Marxist principles. And my Marxist principle means you don't organize, you don't rally with Jewish supremacists like Jessica Tisch. You don't make deals with landlords like Zoran Mamdani has. I am a true Marxist. I'm not a social democrat. I'm not a United States leftist. I want the means of production. Taxing the rich is some liberal bullshit. You gotta understand that.
Yeah, the framing on this is unnecessary, confrontational. It is a common position in the U.S. left that we should tax the rich. I mean, they should have been taxed from the get-go. But at this point, with the corruption that we have, we just don't believe that the system is going to deliver anything for workers. We believe in building an opposition working class movement, not asking for reform from the system. So
y'all about to tax the rich just so they can send more money to Israel. Like the fuck, what the fuck does taxing the rich mean in this system? Giving more corporate bailouts to them? Like anyway, sorry. So I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. It's just a common thing, and what Nick's perspective is more of a Marxist analysis. So, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that someone isn't a comrade or it has to be so oppositional. We just have more of a Marxist analysis, and that'll happen across the board, and that's okay. It's great that Sabi is reaching so many people with her audience with a working class message, and we can pick up there and give it more of a Marxist analysis and collaborate. Let's think more of uniting rather than dividing. 6-pack for me. Thank you for the $5. The global Samud flotilla is nearing Crete under constant surveillance. Yeah, we definitely have to keep an eye out for that. Casey or Cheese Rock. Hey, Accord. Nicola, Rathbone, what you think about Hassan Piker? Oh, too bad Rathbone's gone. But I think he gave you his general take on that. Johnny, the bike guy. All humans are brothers and sisters. High time every culture acts accordingly. Wouldn't that be nice? Bryce Smith. Yeah, it was definitely a show with a lot of great funny moments. Hot Dog. Here in Rathbone chat, we cannot hear the videos. Oh, sorry about that. We'll make a volume adjustment next time. Thank you so much for letting us know. We love getting feedback from you guys. Martin Crank, facts. Cat Terrell, good to see you. 100. You're killing me, Smalls. What a great handle. I'm an international law advocate. Nick is spot on. Left Connect. Anyone who defends themselves is a terrorist, right? I mean, Victor's right history, so it's all a matter of perspective. Control, please end. Who's going to lead us in a revolution? We are. Che famously said that he's not a liberator, that people have to free themselves. So stop looking for saviors and embrace your power. You are more powerful than you know.
Very well said.
Under N6low, now they made up narco-terrorists to drop bombs on poor fishermen. Yeah, the RBN account just had a great tweet on how they subvert terminology. Strangelove the Doctor. William Wallace was a terrorist to the English. Exactly, right? Any resistance movement is labeled terrorism if it doesn't have the empire's approval. Layers of snark. U.S. government is run by terrorists. The largest terrorists on earth, probably the largest terrorists in history with the military that the U.S. has built up. Nicola, 100%. Michael, thank you for the $4.99. Please ask Nick about the Battle of Blair Mountain, which is extremely cross-racial and classist only. That is a whole segment for another time. We've actually mentioned it before, but the corporations use the U.S. military to basically attack workers that were uniting in an uprising, leading to a lot of death. So that one deserves its own segment.
But meanwhile, the ruling class wants to condemn political violence when they engage in it all the time. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, they just want to condemn working class resistance. That's all. When they do it, it's fine.
And what pisses me off is the American working class is actually extremely fucking pacifist in a lot of fucking ways. Because think about the people who get caught engaging in quote unquote domestic terrorism. They all groomed by the FBI. And the ones who are not groomed by the FBI, they are like veterans. They was part of the military, have military connections. Like, these are not working class people. The idea that the American working class engage in political violence is straight up bullshit. We are victims of political violence by the police state, who executes around 1,300 Americans every year, one every 5 to 6 hours. So every 5 to 6 hours, a police officer murders an American. Only a few will make the news. But the people who murder their own people want to tell us that violence is never the answer. No, what they want is a monopoly on violence. And that's why we should never allow the government to have that, a monopoly on violence. But please continue, Zoya.
Well said, Nick. Lorley, we're outsourcing the government to Palantir, etc. Democracy now brought to you by Freedom Corp. Exactly, and that piggybacks really well on Nick's point that now we're getting a technocracy on top of the police state, so it's only going to get worse. Under N6low, coincidentally, we created Al Qaeda in 1979. Yeah, during the Cold War, it was important to fund them in order to sabotage the Soviet Union. So they were hailed in newspapers as resistance fighters against the Soviet regime. Funny how the West always is behind funding the most extremist groups. Non-Zensi, Western capitalist ruling class definitely is the T-wordist. Yeah, the biggest terrorist, for sure. Left Kynek, if you aren't anti-capitalist, you're not left.
There are a lot of people who are anti-capitalist who claim they're anti-capitalist, but they're not. Isn't that the most like insane thing in the West? For example, there are people who call themselves anti-capitalist, but they support NATO.
Nick, you didn't play that clip.
We're gonna play with Sarah. I know we was running long on time. I think I'm gonna play with Sarah. I think me and Sarah we're gonna have a lot of fun with that clip. I know exactly what you're talking about, but fortunately we ran I think Sarah would be great with that segment.
You guys gotta tune in Friday. There's a really great clip illustrating this point, and it's hilarious.
Zoe, I promise you, I'm gonna get to on Friday. Unfortunately, I already had to cut the King Charles segment, so we kind of ran low on time today. But imagine me covering that with Sarah. That's gonna be fucking. That's gonna be
perfect.
Yeah.
Beezis Queen Bee. Nick is tweeting some bangers today. Like,
bro, I'm always in the lab cooking. I told you, I'm always in the lab cooking. I go 2 or 3 times a week. But if I'm not live, I'm always cooking something up.
Kat Terrell, the Hollywood left, the Main Street left, and more. Lorshak, left wing of the Bandera Party.
I'm gonna start calling him motherfucker the Bandera left.
Honestly, I'm ready for a divorce with the whole left, the terminology. I feel like they're locking us into a battle of words where we're going to have to argue for another decade just to define the left.
Yeah,
and we have to start uniting around objectives for working class without all the terminology, because the terminology comes with all of the preloaded propaganda and traps us.
Yeah, if Matt Duss and Hassan Piker and AOC is the left in the United States, I'm good. If Kat Abugala, or whatever fuck her name is, if she's a leftist, you saw PSL had her on the People Council talking like, bro. If PSL is the fucking left, I'm done. Like I'm done with this shit, bro. I'm tired of these motherfucking trailing Democrats. I'm tired of these motherfuckers engaging in mass cancel culture of the working class over jokes as they support people who actively support NATO and condemn them. I'm done with it. And we explained how the United States left. They rejected me and I reject them, bro. Like, I'm just straight up communist now. I'm black liberation fighter. I don't really give. You can even call me on the right, bro. I don't really give a fuck how you classify me anymore. I really don't. I don't want anything to do with wherever this U.S. left shit is. And no one have more fucking experience. I've been organizing around these motherfuckers for 7 years, bro. Like, after 7 years of being around the U.S. left, and I'm done with that shit. Like, if you want to join the communist movement, that's what I'm part of.
Yeah, and the origins of the whole left-right thing are during the French Revolution, the people who wanted revolution and reform were sitting on the left, and the aristocrats and landowners were sitting on the right. So the whole left-right thing is originated from Europe and all of these colonial powers, and we're limiting billions of workers across the world into these boxes of these politics that are descendant from the West. We need to organize around what the working class needs, not which words they use.
I have to address this. I see the chat come in. Thank you for giving me this toss-up. I appreciate this comment. I really do. You can't change this country by being a communist. That's cool, but be realistic. Who do you think done the most for the working class in the United States? Who do you guys think gave all the labor rights? Who achieved the labor rights that was later stricken away during the Reagan era? Anti-communism itself is what responsible for the fall of the American working class. That's why Americans don't have saving accounts. That's why they're not allowed to have one breadwinner in the family. They force your mother to be a worker because, God forbid, someone can raise a family. Meanwhile, who was the communists? The communists were the ones who introduced breakfast programs, like the Black Panthers and our Fred Hampton revolutionary ancestors. So it's about the science and methodology of class warfare that will lead us to change. All this reformist bullshit, like if I was to take your very good faith inquiry, I think this is very good faith. What have the Social Democrats won for the American working class? You know, the Bernie Sanders types that has been in politics since the 70s. Like, what have they won? Like, with their reformism? You know what they got after 40 years of pushing reformist policies? They got a genocide. And they got the working class facing record income inequality. So social democracy, reforms, and liberalism itself have been proven to be a complete failure. Yeah, this person said that's true. This guy has really good faith. It's already been proven to be a failure. So I'm looking at what's been successful. Don't you guys want to start building shit like China? Like, have you seen the shit that China built? I'm not saying this from a American exceptionalist position, but don't you want to compete with them? Like, don't you want to provide for our own people what they accomplished in China by renting in landlords? You know what I mean? I want to destroy the landlord class. I want to destroy the exploitation of the American working class, and that's how we achieve meaningful gain. Not working with the system, not making these devil bargain deals. We know because we already have the science on this. We've seen the trial. We've seen what they have tried to accomplish with the DSA that's been in existence for 40 years. So anyway, I'll wrap my segment up here. So I know some people are like, where's Rath? Yeah, we did the first 90 minutes of the stream is with Rathbone. Me and Zoya, we usually do a Q&A. But if you're on the Rathbone side, you should still stick in because we're reading Rathbone comments too. So maybe I'll have Rathbone in this stream next time, but we always do a Q&A with Zoya at the end. For anyone who's confused.
Yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying. Also, just to add to your point, Nick, the contradictions are heightening no matter what we do or don't do. So the working class is going to feel the pain. We already are, and it's going to get worse. So you will get political violence. You will get more resistance to the system because people will be struggling. And the two paths in front of us are fascism or communism. So it's really important we organize people towards communist theory because otherwise they're going to fall into fascism. And history proves this.
Yeah, well said.
Oh, why two eyeballs? All right, Nick is here. Witchmaster, it makes no difference if you try to fight politically. They will just buy your representatives a yacht and your vote, no matter how right, is dead on arrival. That's why we got to organize outside the system. Cameron O'Brien, loving those Iranian Lego vids. Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. I've watched a few on repeat. They're just not holding back anything. And hopefully the American masses will get educated from easy to understand cartoons.
Yeah, I have a segment in the back that I haven't had a chance to do yet because there's too much to cover, but have you guys seen like CNN and them, they're melting down they're essentially melting down over the fact that the proletariat around the world can communicate with each other. And they view these Lego videos as extremely antagonistic and they treat it hostile. But what they're really just mad at peace-loving people communicating across and able to ingest each other content. I still might do that segment one day because the mainstream reaction to the Lego videos has been hilarious.
Yahoo! What's good, gang? Kill your egos. Awesome Nick and Rath show. It's always a good one. We love having Rathbone here. BZ's Queen Bee. It's a way to legitimize him, give him opposition cred. This is regarding Hassan Piker.
Yep.
See, some people see through it. I show mechs meat. It's all a show. Chairman Mao, Piker, and AOC. Sheepdogs. Casey McCoy, that bill isn't for Hassan, really. It's for all of you. It's for all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Steph Person, they're vilifying Hassan to give him street cred. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Uria, there is no left or right in this country. There's an oligarchy in this country. Peter Joshua, they simply use Hassan as a gatekeeper. We've experienced this firsthand. When we were organizing March for Medicare for All, when RBN first started organizing and doing mutual aid, Hassan went out of his way with his massive platform to attack just average, everyday people and activists and organizers who are just doing this to fight for healthcare for the workers, for the betterment of working class issues. Instead of uplifting these voices that are struggling themselves, they punch down and start asking for credentials.
Remember, Zoe, he deleted that tweet. I found that out recently. Remember the tweet where he went after us? He was like, what do you think you're going to do? Organize a general strike on stream? And then he stole my idea 6 months later. That's the fucking most hilarious thing about it, is that after criticizing us, because he's like, what are you gonna do? Organize labor via live stream? And then we have all these union organizers calling for a general strike. And then he jacked our idea. And then the entirety of Twitter was praising them. They're like, look, Hassan Piker is platforming union organizers. Same thing that we did that you was upset about. So that was one of the I didn't even know who that guy was until that. And then that was one of my like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. He part of the gatekeeper class that Shama talks about all the time. And you know how he's shady, because despite the fact he had interviews with AOC and Matt Duss and liberal Zionists, you know what he said about Jill Stein? He was asked about why he never had Jill Stein on the show. We know the real reason why he doesn't have Jill Stein on the show, because his job is to promote the Democratic Party, not their alternatives. So in order to justify that, he said, oh, Jill Stein, I don't trust her. I don't trust her. So Hassan Piker doesn't trust RBN, doesn't trust Jill Stein, but he trusts AOC and Matt Duss. He doesn't trust the anti-Zionist Jew who was arrested protesting genocide, but he trusts the people who support genocide. He trusts Graham Plattner. So when I saw him go after us, and then I saw him go after third-party movements and Jill Stein, I'm like, okay, it's clear what this guy is. He's here to say radical shit, but the sheepdog people to the Democratic Party. And I've been right every step of the way since then. Ever since I made that initial analysis of him, I seen him do nothing but prop up the Democratic Party, do live streams with the Zionist Jewish supremacists, NATO supporting Bernie Sanders, and never asking questions about the Ukraine proxy war to him. It's clear what he was designed to do. It is crazy to me. So you know how much it pissed me off. I be texting Zoe about the show all the time. It's crazy to me people don't see past it. It's crazy to me that people see this guy propping up an imperialist genocidal party and smearing anyone who operates outside that party, and they think he's legitimate. The reason why, I'm saying it for people who are new to our show, the only reason why they're going after Hassan Piker now and trying to make him the enemy is to give him street cred, like one of the people said before, so that will give him more weight for when he inevitably endorses AOC in 2028. You guys realize the game they're playing on y'all, right? So then they're going to be like, well, if an outsider like Hassan Piker endorses AOC, that must mean she's the real deal. Remember, fam, he was playing video games with AOC as she was voting for Hakeem Jeffries. No one can ever convince me he's good faith. He's just like Dave Smith. He needs to do a lot for me to ever think he's a good faith actor. He's not that. He's not that. He distrusts anyone who operate outside the Democratic Party apparatus. But let's move on, Zoya.
Yeah, and by the way, I have screenshots of those tweets, so deleting it won't help you, Hassan.
I almost want to ask him why he deleted it. You know what I mean? Isn't that interesting? I've discovered that only like a few months ago when someone linked it. They're like, "Yo," I saw he deleted the tweet when he went out to the General Strike Summit, which was very interesting.
Well, he's going to Cuba and he's going to China, so he's doing this rebrand, to become the communist voice with his platform. So he's got to erase all of these trails of him attacking the working class. And for anyone who's new here, understand we have years of history with these people. We're not reactionaries. I even worked on campaigns of progressives after the Bernie movement. Some of them won, like Jamal Bowman, who was wishing me happy birthday on the timeline. This is from experience because they promised us things. They took our grassroots energy and money, and then they stabbed us in the back and betrayed us. So we're just warning you not to fall into the same trap. We're not trying to be negative about something that has potential, just as Democrats' strategy has failed. They voted in Nancy Pelosi when they had an opportunity during Force the Vote to push through concessions like they promised us they would. And their job is to just keep telling us that we got to vote harder, elect more, and they don't ever put up an opposition to the establishment when it counts. Sorry, it hit a nerve. It hit a nerve. Dark Knights. Oh no, Hassan Cult in the chat. That's okay. People voted for Obama. People all have to start somewhere. We can explain and defend our positions. We're glad to have you here and we can talk in good faith. Bugs of Billy. This chat is now declared a revolutionary zone. Da-da-da-da. Bezim Queen Bee. Love Nick and Wrath streams. Kier Brown, thank you for the $5. The endemic and systemic corruption goes from lowly law enforcement to the very top echelons. It's fundamental in greasing the wheels of the imperium. Absolutely. Jay was too. Thank you for the $20. Just wanted to say hi, Rathbone, and fuck you, Saeed. Okay. Bad hombre. Free speech on the internet is coming to an end. I don't know. I've seen so much censorship in my lifetime. I don't know how long it's been gone. Black Box Girl Revolt. You are still inside a paradigm that was created before history. The rest is cliff notes. Marxism actually attempts to understand these dynamics from a class perspective. Robert Templeton, I liked the 90s, but I rue the day I voted for Clinton. Hey, you're here now. We are a heavily propagandized country, so doesn't matter where you start at, as long as you keep critically thinking and building class consciousness. Michael, thank you for the $4.99. If the American Revolution wasn't violent, then why should any other be? Well, it was violent, right?
I think they meant was.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's a typo.
Yeah. Mr. Charles, it's kind of creepy how they covet Hassan. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's doing like poster boy layouts for GQ. That's never gonna happen for Nick. Can you imagine?
Well, to be fair, you got a lot of people who listen to him, man. So there has to be some sort of ruling class strategy to contain that. What's kind of weird to me is how he's like upset that the Democratic Party don't want him. Like, have you guys ever seen like his responses to this stuff? He's like, "Come on, guys, why are you guys attacking me, bro? You know how much I will relish the establishment go after me." He like begging them to acknowledge him, to allow him. Come on, let me into the Democratic Party, guys. I'm not that radical. Like, bro, why the fuck are you apologizing? I've seen so much cringe I could cover. Like, if I was one of the people who covered content creators, you know how much I could do. Every time I see this man speak, I'm like, bro, I could do a segment on that. Because he like apologizing to them. Oh, no. What I really meant when I said this about Hamas, no. Why are you apologizing? Anyway, I just know it. We just need more clout. You know what I mean? We need more support, because that's another reason we got to make ourselves so loud and so influential that the ruling class cannot ignore us. We're not at that position right now, unfortunately. That's why they blacklist us. But we need to get ourselves in a position where the revolutionary message is so loud that they are forced to reconcile with it. And they are forced to reconcile with Piker in a lot of ways because they pushed him, and he got a gigantic audience.
Yeah, the tragedy is, though, that his analysis, just like Crystal Ball or Vosh, ends with vote blue no matter who. Grow up, you're immature if you don't. So he definitely captures revolutionary energy and brings it back into the DNC. The Wombat, Reuters doing damage control for U.S. government. That's why they exist. Top JJ, Putin a real leader, by the way. Yeah, it would be so nice to have a leader like this here. Gut busting Bass, I thought Dissent was illegal in Russia. Yeah, curious. Minor threat.
It's crazy how many times I catch these motherfuckers, and like they do so many statements where like, well, Russia doesn't allow dissent. They're like, also there's this Russian blogger who was tweeting how much he disliked them. Like, which is true? Do they allow dissent or not? And based on what I heard from people who live in Moscow, like for example, Fiorella Isabel, and if you guys follow the work of Fiorella, she's actually very critical of Russia, and she worked for RT. And Fiorella said, like, bro, they don't tell her what to say when she was working at RT. All my friends, I got a lot of friends who work for RT, they say the same thing. So based on what I say, the whole narrative about Russia cracking down on all dissent, based on all the evidence that I gathered through testimonies of people who live in Russia, that is not true. Like, you can't be a traitor. Like, you can't openly root for the death and destruction of Putin the same way you can't advocate for the death of the United States president. They have some restrictions, but to pretend that it's anywhere near worse in the West is absurd.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're planning like some serious insurrection, it's really just the CIA op to scare you about Russia and China and all of DPRK, all of these other victims of Western imperialism. When in reality, when you're there, you feel more free than you do here. That's the irony. Minor threat, indeed, Nick. Under N6low, why Putin doesn't delete Zelensky is beyond me. Because Russia doesn't recognize him as a legitimate leader, and they know he would just be replaced with another puppet. So they know their war is actually with NATO and the West.
Yeah, he's an unelected leader. Killing him would do way more for him and the Ukrainian cause than keeping him alive. And also, never forget that Western barbarism and Zionist barbarism is unique in the sense that they normalized the murdering of world leaders. And you notice how Russia is still following the illusion of international law. A lot of Gen Z people probably don't know this, Zoe, but you got to know that it was considered completely out of bounds, completely red line to murder leaders. World leaders were completely considered untouchable in wars. It's the West and Israel that started engaging in political assassinations as a strategy that kind of normalized that. It's one of the ways that they regressed humanity.
But also, you know, they killed Patrice Lumumba and all of the colonial powers in the third world. They normalized killing leaders. This is just when they killed Gaddafi and Saddam, Russia was really speaking out and saying that, you know, this is being normalized, that this is a crime and we can't allow this. But there's no Western institution that's going to hold them accountable. James Starks, COINTELPRO is in the people's house. Constant vigilance, constant mistrust, all power to the people. Well said, James Starks. I'm trying to highlight some of the new people to the chat and the old school homies. Get to know each other, stick around. Cameron O'Brien, meanwhile, we in the US are begging for regime change. Yeah, like, please, we have a humanitarian crisis. China, Russia, come on. I can too. Everything is projection. KXMD, or sorry, WV. Nick for president. Why would you guys wish that on Nick?
Hey, bro, I will get Charlie Kirk so fast. They will Charlie Kirk me, and they will make it obvious. You know how they were very sloppy with the murdering of Charlie Kirk for 1,000 different reasons, like the gun that didn't. They wouldn't even try to hide that it was bullshit. They would send a straight up message. Like, if any of you ordinary niggas ever run for president, we will straight up Kirk your ass.
Can you guys imagine Malcolm X for president or Fred Hampton Jr. for president? Once you're talking about revolution, you're not trying to win bourgeoisie politics. You're trying to change the entire system. MJ Greco, what do you expect when Hollywood makes the Russians the villains in every movie? Not anymore. In the 90s, they started taking brothers and sisters from Middle East and making them the villains, like in the movie True Lies. I remember because I lived through it, and I clearly remember at the end of the Cold War, they started really vilifying brown people because they were manufacturing consent for their wars. So
yeah. They literally changed Iron Man's origin story. You know, Iron Man, the MCU guy, they changed his origin story at the start of the War on Terror. Do you guys remember this? That was when I was a teenager. I was super into superhero movies when I was a teenager. And Iron Man, I think, came out in 2007. They made it about him being kidnapped by a bunch of Middle Eastern terrorists. You guys remember that? And he was forced to build his suit under the guise of terror. So why do you guys think that they changed the origin story of a whole ass superhero in order to demonize Arabs during the era of the War on Terror? It's super obvious what they do. But go ahead.
CIA has an office in Hollywood. Never forget. Truth above all. Thank you for the $9.99 super sticker. Really appreciate your support, guys. You guys help keep the lights on. AJ, been to Russia twice for a couple of months each. It's not bad, to be honest. Yeah, decolonize your minds, do a little traveling, go to these places that the West tells you are horrific. Keir Brown, Dave looks more like a controlled OP now. Yeah, he always looked like a controlled OP. Same thing. I mean, the masses in good faith were warning him about Trump. And just like Nick said, he was very condescending and dismissive and even confrontational with good faith people. So
I'm sorry to make it ideological, but we're going to be honest. Libertarians as a whole are controlled ops. Their whole politics is giving power to the ruling class. The return of feudalism. Like, don't get me wrong. I love that they call out wars. I love that they're anti-war. But what do they think is the end result of giving the entire means of production to the capitalist class and the suppression of workers? The end result will be the development of a military-industrial complex that advocates for war. Like, that's capitalism unchecked. They will find ways to create profit, and that will be via imperialism. So, libertarianism as a whole is meant to enable the power of the Epstein class. So it's an op as a whole. That's why I shouldn't be surprised that Dave Smith is one as well.
Zaldivar, thank you for the $5. Randy Fine is so fat. Chris Christie looked at him and said, man, you've really let yourself go. Lord. Master Yoda, thank you for the $2. Join the American Communist Party. Hey, that's one path. They're doing a lot of community work. I see them posting a lot of work that they're doing in community and protesting with unions.
They always support Army trade too. They always support RBN. I'm a big fan of. I like how Haas like to debate like these far right people. He debate communism. Like, we need people on the front lines like that. So I like Midwestern Mars. Haas is cool. Big shout out to them.
AJ, Dave owes it to the American public for publishing that bullshit. Absolutely. You have to hold yourself accountable, not just like walk past it like, oh, I was duped. That's not good enough because you were warned. As Dean, Comrade Rathbone, Mr. Charles, King Charles looked pathetic begging for more war.
Yeah, I wanted to cover that more in detail with Sarah because I think that would be a great segment to do with her.
Bubbles, thank you for the $2. Wrath, unban me, you doofus. Yo, 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 swing that chicken.
The fuck? Like, he posted on fucking Rathbone channel based on what the image here. So I don't know what he's talking about, but thank you.
Keir Brown, thank you for the $10. Putin takes 4 hours of questions live audience televised for the public every year. What are you talking about? And sometimes the questions are grilling. Imagine any Western politician. LOL. Yeah, I've watched those. It's amazing, and the historical context that he can give and go into details of policies they've accomplished and a 5-year plan for the future. Like, you guys just don't know what's possible in America.
Yeah, like I recommend people watch Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping speaking live format. You realize that everything they tell you about Putin is wrong, and you will see why 2/3 of the Russian people support him. That's all I'll say. It's like the difference between him and think of the smartest U.S. congressperson. Pick the smartest U.S. congressperson, and they wouldn't fucking hold a candle to Vladimir Putin. Bro, I have Ro Khanna. I don't know what you got there. I'll probably put Ro Khanna up there because the competition is so low. Like if I was forced to pick the smartest U.S. congressperson, Ro Khanna is a pretty good pick, right? Out of that disgusting institution. You guys see why I did to Ro Khanna? You guys see why I did to Ro Khanna when he came on my show? I had him stuttering like an idiot. Like the difference between a Ro Khanna and a Vladimir Putin is gigantic. Let alone all the dipshit idiots we've seen in Congress, like Jamal Bowman, who didn't know what the fuck a Donbass was, didn't know what Crimea was. The difference between the leaders is night and day.
Yeah. I knew it was over for Bowman when he got the Obama endorsement, honestly. And then Mamdani got them, what's the Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries endorsement. That's it. When the establishment endorses you, you're not a threat to them. Jay was, thank you for the $10. Free Rathbone, free the bone. We're getting some really hilarious chats.
I know some Rathbone people probably confused, but the first 90 minutes I did with Rathbone, me and Zoya, we usually do Q&As. We read the super chats at the end of the show. So if you're on the Rathbone stream, just check out the first 90 minutes. That's me and that's the real show. This is me and Zoya going through all the super chats and stuff. So we already did the show. I know there's a lot of confusion. People just join like middle. We almost done, right?
Yeah, we have one last one. What a way to end. Tuxedo Mask, thank you for the $2. I'm gay. Well, we love the diversity that Bradville.
This is hell. That man's so gay. He's in a super sticker. He's so gay. Imagine being so gay, you pay money so people know you're gay. Like that's real dedication, man. That's real dedication, my man. That's real dedication. But anyway, Zoe, I think we're done. So I think Jamal just texted me. I think we're doing our show on Friday instead of tomorrow morning, which thank God. Now I don't have to wake up super early. I do my hotspots in the morning. So I'm gonna join Jamal on Friday morning. I'm also gonna have Sarah from DDG join us. So that's all the announcements, Zoe. I can let you close us out.
What time are you going to be on Jamal's show?
His show's early as hell, so it's going to be probably 8 a.m. Central time. But we see. We know the exact time soon. Jamal, he does a great show. Sometimes he do like 3-hour shows. So I'm not sure exactly what time slot I'm going to be in, but just watch the show on Friday. Jamal does a great show, so I'm sure you guys will enjoy it, and I will join him at some point.
It's Jamal Thomas, for those of you guys who haven't heard of him yet. And he does wonderful morning shows. He has really good guests on. And him and Nick also just have great chemistry. So tune in Friday morning, and then tune in Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern here with Sarah from DD Geopolitics. They're going to cover King Charles and some other hilarious stories. Don't miss it, that one. Also, please make sure you're following us on all platforms, including Kick and Rumble, Telegram, Twitter. You know why I'm laughing, Nick. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and also hit the bell so you get notifications. We are heavily suppressed by the algorithm, as you know. We rely on you guys, the working class audience, to boost the stream, hype the stream, share it with everyone, your kids, your parents, whoever you want to spread class consciousness to. And as always, remember that everything you do matters. This is a generational fight. Stay strong. Remember that we are going to win over time, because the future belongs to the working class. Thank you so much. Love and solidarity.